Welcome in, Pokemon UNITE Trainers UNITE Championship Series North America Regional League, and it is week number 2. It is also day number 2. Both of the off-stream matches, well, I guess all 3 of the off-stream matches are going to be today and yesterday. And Husky, we had a lot of great matches on stream yesterday, also the off-stream that we were hosting. Welcome on in, everybody. How's your day going so far? Are you enjoying the on-stream action as we get into the off-stream?
Yeah, it's been an interesting day of matches so far, on the on-stream matches and the earlier EU off-stream matches. I've kind of been watching here and there, but I really do feel like the real excitement happens in this half of the day when we start to get into some of these NA matches.
Yeah, we're going to start off the day with Tugang and IX Gaming. IX Gaming had a really good start to yesterday, maybe a little bit of a sour finish going up against the juggernaut that is Root Dig, and Root Dig looked every bit of their undefeated record against this IX Gaming squad, so they're looking to get back on track today. Tugang certainly looking to get on track in this regional league, and these two teams have squared off against each other a handful of times, most notably in the regionals last year to qualify for Worlds. IX Gaming actually took down Tugang in that Worlds qualifying match.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one off the bat. And we were talking yesterday, if any of you guys were around, how it seems like NA is a fight for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Because Root Dig and EG have just been so far out ahead in these first couple of weeks that some of these teams... Check my mic. Oh. Sure.
Oh no. Is it better now? Chat, test.
That probably is better.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
hoping.
I hear you fine. So yeah,
I'm
maybe
hoping. Yeah,
it's
no,
just
I
a little
didn't.
weird.
I wouldn't have noticed. Okay, thanks. Sorry. Anyway, we were talking yesterday about how the fight for 3rd, 4th, and 5th in NA is real because you've got Root Dig and EG that are just so far out ahead, but teams like IX and Tugang, they're going to be trying to get into those last few spots that allow them to qualify for Worlds. And right now, IX is looking extremely powerful among those kind of fight for 3rd, 4th, and 5th place teams. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they pull out today.
Me too. We'll see what type of compositions we're going to have, and already a little bit of a sneak peek of what we're going to see. We're going to see IX Gaming. We have Whaley on the Psyduck, a Pokemon that we've been very much watching this entire weekend, and Rob's going to be on that notable Leafeon, so a very strong pick there. Also, Riker on the Scyther, something that we've seen quite a bit.
Yeah, that Scyther, this is an interesting pick that we've seen a little bit here and there. It's interesting to watch IX and the way that their team competitions have evolved over time. Yesterday they were using Glaceon throughout the day. Today now we're seeing them kind of go back to this Scyther and Liko back on the Mewtwo Y. Like, they're just constantly switching it up and keeping their opponents on their toes.
Already getting a nice 6-point dunk in is this Vaporeon. Liko going to meet that with a little bit of resistance. Mr. Mime on the opposite side of the map, also getting some stacks in early, where Burzy just trying to build up that effort gauge, trying to get to that Mega Gyarados, well, currently regular Gyarados until it hits that level 9, but either way, trying to make that work. And Clash, if they go down here, this could be really good. Riker coming up to the top. I think Clash actually burned the eject button very wisely.
Yeah, they had to use the eject button there. You do not want to give Burzy an early KO because you need this Leafeon to get as far ahead as possible, as quickly as possible. So the second you get a Gyarados online, that Leafeon is suddenly smothered and there's not really too much you can do about it. So good choice there from Clash and not go down. You don't want to give them that opportunity.
And already the Burrs are getting shredded through. 4 members of IX Gaming prioritize that, whereas 3 members of Tugang kind of prioritizing this bottom path, knowing that Scyther is something that's going to be really tough to deal with. Mr. Mime gonna go Confusion, gonna try to add a little bit more crowd control to them. A nice little foul play there from Smuglax, gonna send this Vaporeon back to the Speed Flux zone. Pyro also trying to hold their A button down with this Drizzile. Liko getting pressed forward, and get Rob bring out a nice little Razor Leaf, but no harm, no foul. IX Gaming get to safety.
Yeah, I gotta give it though to TI Gang here. They're being very patient, a lot more patient than this team usually is. I feel like this is a very fight-heavy team. They always want to be in the middle of the action, and IX is not a team that really lets that happen. So giving it to TI Gang here, they are playing it a lot more patiently, as we do see Vaporia finally get caught here, first KO of the game.
First K opener, and now you're going to burn that eject button once again on this Mr. Mime. Burzy also going to try to retreat here with the Mimikyu stacking their attack weight. Also going to get attacked here by this Leafeon. Whaley coming up to the top path. Going to try to stop Clash on this Mr. Mime. Headache gauge pops.
Whoa.
That means the surf is up for Whaley.
That's so annoying. The amount of CC that surf does on the Psyduck, and Whaley always positioning it absolutely perfectly. Great stall out there by the Vaporeon, but it's just not going to be enough. 17 points are going to go in for Burzy. IX off to a really solid start.
Getting off to a good start. Nice little snipe shot there from Pyro, but that's going to not really connect on a whole lot to Gang. Prioritizing once again this top path. Same with IX Gaming, holding 4 members up in this top path. Shadow tagged by the Mimikyu was that Scyther, but it doesn't really matter. They're going to try to prioritize this Natu family. 30 points in the bottom path for Gang. And this Regirock, though, getting immediately eviscerated by the Scyther.
Very interesting seeing play rough here on the Mimikyu. It's a very good move, but I feel like we've still seen this Shadow Claw prioritized in a lot of these games that Mimikyu is in, but I think this play rough, we're going to see it here. Oh, if it landed on the Scyther, it definitely KOs them there, but I think that's the exact reason you run play rough here, because you know there's a Scyther on the other side that has a ton of mobility, but if you have play rough on top of them, you can track it.
Liko, the lone defender on this bottom path. Smuglax joining the party, making sure that this Regieleki doesn't walk in, because that could be a pretty significant overcap if it does. Here comes Leafeon, access to the Emerald 2-step. They're going to take out Liko immediately. Smuglax, the next member on the chopping block. This is going to set up nicely for a potential overcap. Only 21 in, so not the most large overcap, but it's going to be something. Whaley going to surf away. Looking for a snipe shot. It's going to just barely miss. Whaley gets to safety for the moment, but still gets taken down by the Leafeon Mimikyu combo.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused there, honestly, on that play from okay, all right, interesting. From the Mimikyu, they just jump in and immediately get absolutely eviscerated the second they take that shadow tag. Good KO, though, for Easy right there. But it was an interesting play there from IX not to respond to that bottom path, especially because you are watching the Leafeon's levels. You know it's going to have an Emerald 2-step available, and no matter what you do as Mewtwo Y, you're still going to get one shot by that Leafeon.
Riker coming down to the bottom path. Bunny hiding in the tall grass, making sure that they're getting that very valuable vision for Gang, because you don't want to, lose one of those goal zones. You have both goal zones up for Gang, so it's kind of going pretty well for them so far.
Yeah, that's a lot of additional advantage for this. Burzy looking for an opportunity auto tag there. We'll be able to hit the play rough, but great response from I before the spawns.
2 KO'd. Clash gonna try to hold this T1 goal zone. Dragon Current from Burzy, making sure no one steps forward. He has a snipe shot there, but completely absorbed by IX Gaming, and they get some valuable space for a second Regirock of this match, and that's gonna be completely wiped off. Regieleki on the bottom path, though, gonna likely get taken by Gang.
Same way that you can't underestimate Leafeon's ability to one-shot anything, you also can't underestimate the Scyther's ability to do the exact same thing. When that Unite move is up, that is just a rocket of a Pokemon running around the map, grabbing KOs before you even know what hit you. And I don't think that TI Gang was necessarily prepared for that up in that top path, which does mean now we're goal zone down to goal zone down. And look at this, a 6-point differential between these two teams in the mid-game.
Nice little Mewtwo Y Unite just to make sure we have some vision before this Regidrago. Smuglax going to absorb the Emerald 2-step. Mimikyu getting caught between a blender. So good plays here from IX Gaming to survive that. They're still going to have to defend this Regieleki from going on in. Mewtwo Y as well, able to stop that push. And Gang just going to go scrambling back to their T1. We have Burzy actually going to go ahead and rip through this Regidrago, but Gang able to respond in tow. 4 members members here. Snipe Shot's going to miss the mark, going to continue ripping through this Regidrago. Snipe Shot's going to connect on the Gyarados, sending them under the water. Pyro going to also pop their Unite move, and Mr. Mime's telling everybody it's showtime, looking for a secure. Snipe Shot's lining it up, and it's going to knock it down.
Wow, the Snipe Shot does end up pulling it out here. Great win there for TI Gang, able to pick up a couple high-value KOs. Scyther not even able to get their Unite move out in that moment, but Liko now trying to fight back a little bit. Great Psychic hit there from Whaley on the Psyduck, and that will close out that KO. But still, TI Gang now pulls ahead in the score lead. They were able to secure that Regidrago. That's a huge advantage for them going into this late game.
Yeah, still a pretty okay lead here as far as the points go for Tagang. But I mean, you got to be starting to be concerned with some of the levels on IX Gaming as they're getting closer and closer. Getting some of these level 13s online. You just saw 2 of them tick in, both the Scyther and the Mewtwo.
Yeah, we've got now 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, and IX Gaming considering going for this top objective, whereas they're just going to give that Regieleki over to TI Gang. Not too bad of an option if you can get any of the objectives. You know, it's a pretty good call. You've got Reg Ice now, a little bit of extra shielding and HP recovery, as well as a little bit more experience. But this Regieleki could give a lot of options here for TI Gang. If it goes in, you know, you send Leafeon down there, increase your score lead a little bit more. But either way, IX Gaming is in the hot seat.
And just like that, Leafeon does get sent down to that bottom T2. There's that Mewtwo Y Unite just to start this party. Inteleon immediately chased down by Liko. That's a massive KO. No real secure tool outside of this Leafeon. So IX Gaming making their way towards this Groudon. Good stun by Smuglax. Here comes the pull from Whaley. Another side strike from Mewtwo is going to hit the mark. Groudon starting to get chipped in 3.
Wow.
Immediately gone. And now Mimikyu's the only one left for Tagang, getting zoned out by Smuglax. IX Gaming going to rip through this Groudon, and they're going to take it.
Wow, TI Gang just had no idea what to do with IX's team fight ability, and that's one of the reasons I feel like IX Gaming has been so powerful so far in these first few weeks of the season, because their team fight is pretty much unmatched throughout the league. They're just able to make so much happen that you wouldn't expect. The perfect timings on their Unite moves as well to make sure that they're alternating between the CC moves and the damage moves and getting some really valuable KOs. Great fight there from them, but this game is not quite over. They have some buffs on their side, but if TI Gang can hold it, but it doesn't look like they will be able to. That lead will be increased here for IX.
300 points now, the lead. So IX Gaming likely going to take this one, especially with 2 members down. Although there are 30 seconds left, and we were able to get one more KO, the Leafeon. That should just all about do it here in game number 1. Maybe some return KOs on the other side, but I don't believe that Tagang will be able to traverse the entire map before the timer expires here in game 1. So IX Gaming going to continue on their hot streak here in your North America Regional League in day 1 and take that into day number 2 with a first game win of this set.
I feel like one of the advantages that IX Gaming has is that a lot of times in Pokemon Unite, especially in the competitive scene, the teams will switch around a lot. You know, you'll have a lot of different players going to different teams, but most of IX Gaming has played together for a long time, and that buildup of team chemistry just allows you to have so many of those insane moments in team fights where they just know, they probably don't even have to say it, they just know exactly when their teammates are going to be using their Unite moves and all those kind of things, so that they win team fights like so often you wouldn't expect that they would. And that was a great example in that game number 1. So IX is going to go up 1 game to TI Gang.
1 game to nothing. Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the bans too, right? Like, we don't oftentimes get to see the bans going into the game, obviously, just given the situation not being able to be like in the admin slot, so we don't get to see the bans, but we kind of could theorize about them. But now that we do see them, so we get that Mega Lucario, Snorlax, and that Dodrio, and then on the other side, Charwai, Darkrai, Blastoise. And the other thing like to think about here too is this Dodrio ban is very targeted, because I believe it was Tagang yesterday that was oftentimes taking the score comp.
Yeah, the score comp. We've seen it come out a couple times, and You know, I don't know how often it wins, but it is annoying to play against. And when teams are able to pull out that strategy, it can just be difficult because a lot of teams aren't familiar with playing against a score composition. So for some teams, you know, it might just be easier to ban out one of those key members of a score composition, even if it's not the tried and true strategy that every team can use. But yeah, not too bad of bans here. What I'm interested in is how IX Gaming continues to be able to pull this Mega Gyarados onto their team, because I feel like every game yesterday they played it, and now we're seeing them play it again today. I feel like we catch on at this point that it's a little bit broken. Maybe you should just get rid of it.
Yeah, that was a great pull there from, I believe it was actually Sarah. Yeah, Wailords are on the Psyduck, looking pretty good there. And we're gonna take a look at some of these replays.
This was so funny, dude.
It was. Yeah, and there was actually a really good shadow tag there by the Mimikyu to get onto the Scyther, and then they, you know, fortunately also were able to take down Whaley.
This is so funny. Oh wait, we didn't get that replay either, but no, it was so funny when the Mimikyu jumped onto the Gyarados after. But look at Whaley, the way that she lived for so long, it was so funny. The Mimikyu paid for it immediately here when they jumped onto the Gyarados.
Oh yeah.
That's. I don't know what I guess they expected that they would get the play rough out, but they were so low anyway. I feel like just one hit from Burzy regardless would have gotten them.
Yeah, I wonder if they were thinking, because they had that Unite move up at the time too, so they can maybe just completely shut it down. But yeah, any little small bit of damage, so mid-waterfall able to do it. This is a great snipe shot there through a little bit of traffic from IX. I think if maybe someone was able to body block it, you might have been able to get that Regidrago, but it really wasn't all that key right there. But Tegay had a pretty significant lead. This right here, getting that off. Huge. There's my little drawing. Getting that Psy Strike off. Thank you. Beautiful circles here. That was truly key.
Yeah, I think that IX did a great job capitalizing off the fact that Leafeon wasn't around. And here comes Riptide Rob. You can see them up in that top corner looking for the Emerald two-step onto Liko, but incredible response there from IX. And Liko had a teleport ready to step out of the way of that Leafeon Unite move. The whole team responds perfectly, and then they're just able to grab a clean win on that fight. I think for TI Gang, the mistake that they made there was they sent the Leafeon to go score, and then they weren't able to respond back to the team fight quick enough after that Inteleon got grabbed there by the Psy Strike.
Yeah, just kind of unfortunate. I mean, a beautiful play by Liko. You got to put some respect on Liko's name. Just definitely one of the best attackers in North America, and certainly making everybody aware of how good he is and positionally sound, especially on this Mewtwo Pokemon, which I think does really well into enemy speedsters. You saw it there. That teleport's super valuable. The ability of Psy Strike just to slow, and then an extra stun at the very end, being able to chase down that Inteleon all the way across the map. I think that Inteleon ejected there, so actually pretty good stuff there. We do have a little information about the draft.
Yeah, we're getting word here from production that we've got the bans. So it looks like the same bans here for IX. They're banning out the Dodrio, Snorlax, and Mega Lucario. And on the opposite side, they actually have banned out now this Mewtwo Y from IX Gaming. They're also banning Vaporeon and Mega Charizard Y. So not too many changes, but it is interesting to see that now we're targeting out this Mega Mewtwo Y. They don't want to give this Pokemon back to Liko.
Sometimes you just have to ban the things that Liko's good on, but Liko's good on many attackers. The pool is very deep with him. I mean, very good on Inteleon. We actually saw him play a little bit of Galarian Rapidash yesterday, which
that was fun.
I thought was super fun. I think that Pokemon's incredibly powerful. We were talking yesterday, the Smart Strike, the ability to just kind of dash, move around, be a bit of disruptor, and then hit that Smart Strike on a premier target. It's a pretty significantly long stun. And when you have like good comms like IX does, you're going to have follow-up damage to take those KOs.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, I think, for for those follow-ups. And they also had the Icy Wind Glaceon yesterday that looked really good. I liked it, with the Rapidash as well. So the Mewtwo Y has kind of been that premier attacker for a lot of these players because, it gets really powerful when it gets its Mega Evolution. But I'm not, like the most Mewtwo Y lover. I think that sometimes it works really well, but it also has the ability to CC. It's got a really good control Unite move. So I think for a team like IX who really builds off of each other, having the utility of a Mewtwo Unite move just kind of enables them to do what they like to do in team fights. So I don't mind that ban.
Yeah, I don't either. I think there are so many good Pokemon. We'll see. I mean, the Snorlax ban I think is interesting because normally teams that are playing against IX are banning that Snorlax because Smug is so incredibly good on it. Namesake Pokemon, obviously. But they're kind of banning this, so it tells me that they don't really want to have to deal with that amount of crowd control, whether it's the block or the heavy slam. So wonder kind of what the thought is behind that one. Obviously, the Dodrio makes sense because Tagang has been really loving that score composition, which has created some really fun games to watch, but I completely understand not wanting to have to play into something like that.
Yeah, I get it. I think, you probably, if you're not banning out the Snorlax, you're probably taking it from Smuglax. And they probably just don't really want to play against it either. So you may as well just ban it out instead. Let Smuglax play, some of the other Pokemon that he really likes to play. Yeah. And then, he was really good on the tree before the 1 week. He's been playing a lot of different defenders throughout. So he can kind of, again, IX has such a deep pool that they can kind of play anything. But I am interested to see what they end up going with. I wonder if they give back the Psyduck to Whaley, because that thing, regardless of who's on it, is absolutely ridiculous. But Whaley's Psyduck especially is just devastating. And we saw it last game for TI Gang, just the Psychic catching them, especially like when it caught the Leafeon. It was just the worst thing you could think of. So I am surprised to see that it's not being banned out here, which means maybe we see TI Gang pick it up in that first pick slot or something before Whaley can grab it, but there's just so many things that were devastating on IX's side that I don't really know how you can counterpick them.
Yeah, and there we go. We have a little bit of information. We are taking the Scyther away from IX Gaming. So Rob is going to be piloting that Pokemon. And we have the Darkrai going to be taken by IX Gaming, or by Tagang. So that's also kind of taking that away from Liko. But let's get into it. This is game number 2. Tagang going to be on your purple side. IX Gaming going to be on your orange side. We are going to be taking that Darkrai down to the bottom path with that Suicune.
This is a really interesting draft here from TI Gang. I imagine the Blastoise was grabbed first. But you're kind of giving IX everything that they're really good at. You're giving them back the Psyduck Gyarados. You have Liko on the Inteleon, which we were just talking about, how he's really good on so many attackers. Inteleon is absolutely one of them. So that's kind of concerning for me if you're TI Gang to go with this completely different composition just to take away the Scyther from IX Gaming. I feel like that wasn't like the most devastating thing, and Riker could just kind of play whatever they want. But look at this, already getting very low. They might actually go down here. They do. The Eldegoss throwing hands early.
Yeah,
or,
the 8 press
petals,
really flowers, I don't know, like little puffs. Yeah, either way, I mean, wow. Man, that's really tough because you really don't want your central area Pokemon to go down, and now you have a level 4 Eldegoss, not even just that Glossifleur anymore, stealing away a lot of your experience. Ceruledge does get online here, though, so you're going to have these Altaria family coming up, and you have 4v3 up here. If we can find a KO, that's going to be really big. Magikarp's going to be online before we know it.
Yeah, wow, picking up that 2 KO streaks. A really good pivot there from IX Gaming to suddenly go 4 into the top path as soon as they realized that their central area Pokemon was going to fall behind. It's just a really good strategy from them to be able to make adjustments as the game goes on. And look at this, now Smuglax giving them a bit of a taste of their own medicine, looking for that blue buff, and they will steal it.
Wow, Smug's gonna try to get away before members immediately converging, getting a little bit of revenge from that, a little bit of a stolen buff there. Central area, we have Reggie Drago hitting the map in a few seconds. Waylord getting some valuable vision for IX Gaming, making sure no one from TI Gang able to press forward. But Gyarados just focusing on getting those stacks in and maybe a little bit of an invade, trying to get some vision to see if the top path Pokemon is that Blastoise is hiding up there. Scyther going to try to go in, but ends up retreating.
Yeah, Burzy level 6 at 8 minutes. Not exactly what you want to see if you're TI Gang. That's a really powerful option in that top path to hold that Wartortle to a Wartortle for as long as possible. And IX easily going to be able to take this Reggie Drago. Burzy wreaking havoc up in the top path, grabbing a KO for themselves.
Oh, Pyro's going to get caught by this Umbreon, forced to use that eject button. Oh, go from downtown. Sends Darkrai back to the Shadow Realm. Here comes the Sterilege chasing this Suicune back to that T2 goal zone. And IX Gaming playing with some force.
Yeah, what a snipe shot there. That's always absolutely devastating to watch when you connect on a snipe shot. You're basically 100 to 0, but that's kind of what happens on a snipe shot in Teleon. If you have a squishier Pokemon, like a speedster on your side, then sometimes that'll happen if you do get a good hit on that snipe shot. But IX will take the Regieleki in the bottom path, now looking for Registeel.
Steel getting dangerously low, but Burzy going to be able to converge on it. All 5 members of Tagang are just staying up here, going to force to get back to pad for a moment. Aldagast going to try to heal up the squad. Headache gauge from Whaley's going to pop. Darkrai and Hot Pursuit going to try to lower those HP bars. Smuglax into the front line. There comes a Revenant Ren. They're chasing Tagang back in. Burzy going all the way to the T2 pad, looking to find a KO, getting put to sleep by Darkrai, but they're going to be getting away into the central area, taking down the Suicune. Are they going to dodge away from the Scyther? They do. That's crazy.
How are you doing that? That should be impossible and it should be illegal, and somehow we're still letting Burzy have this Pokemon. That's at least 10 years of jail time, honestly, to be able to make it to the tier 2 goal zone in the flux zone, be on less than half HP, and tank like 2 Unite moves and still end up making it out. That's ridiculous. Or it was just the 1 Unite move from the Scyther, but still. Being able to take that out there, absolutely ridiculous. And now we see Smuglax once again in their central area stealing away a buff.
IX Gaming playing with a lot of force and a lot of prowess, making sure that they're putting on a lot of pressure. Burzy and AW just 1v1ing, at least a 1v1 inevitable. Burzy looking for that 40-point dunk. AW making sure that certainly doesn't go on in. This is a stand-up of all ages. Funny. IX Gaming is looking for vision, but these 2 Pokemon just hiding in the tall grass.
I mean, nothing else happening right now. You may as well just watch the stare down between these 2. I guess they assume that Burzy might be there. Yeah, it looks like they are going to be able to find them here, but there they go. Finally suss them out of the tall grass. They do want that 40-point dunk in, but that just means for TI Gang, they have to position somebody close to that tier 2 goal zone, so it just gives IX so much more control to have Burzy just floating around up there, and even still, now 2v4, and Burzy gonna have to use a Unite move.
So does Whaley, reducing a little bit of that damage. Scyther immediately goes on, but met with a disable. Umbreon meets them with a foul play snarl combo. Liko looking to meet them with that snipe shot, but gets him with that boosted auto. Another snipe shot, a little bit wide left. Regieleki finds his home in the bottom side, and Riker able to score a nice 48-point dunk in. Burzy still in the mega form, looking to go on in against this Darkrai, who sends them into the Shadow Realm. Are they going to find the KO? Burzy was able to do it. They chase them down. Darkrai still low. They find the KO. Whaley with a nice little disable, but IX Gaming mostly gets out. They only lost the Gyarados.
That was unreal to be able to survive the entire time inside the worst nightmare, which the spectate doesn't really do it justice for what goes on in there, but you know, that's really difficult to be able to make it that long inside Darkrai's Unite move and then make it back out and still almost picking up the KO. I feel like that's still pretty illegal on the part of IX Gaming, but they still do go down there, which means that's a lot of experience going back towards Pyro, who's now level 11 on that Darkrai.
Yeah, Darkrai looking pretty good right now. They're going to be able to get a snipe shot. Liko once again into the Revenant Ren. There's that Hydro Typhoon into the eject button. Sterilege meets their device. They go back to the Pokemon Center. Rob is going to scramble back to their T2 pad. And Tagang lives to fight another day. And they find a little bit of value, right? That level 13 Sterilege.
Yeah, great Revenant Ren there from the Sarah Ledge to set up that snipe shot to hit, but unfortunately for them, able to, TI Gang able to pick up that KO, make sure the Sarah Ledge goes down for that, but TI Gang still holding on to some decent levels here, but IX Gaming clearly has the control. They're playing around in the enemy central area, taking away another buff, I believe. Oh no, the Suicune did end up picking up that one, but they're still being really annoying.
Very annoying. Another Regieleki down in the bottom path. Riker looking to make this the trifecta down there. And immediately ripping through it. That's going to send it all the way towards that T2. 30 seconds until our second objective. I believe it is a Groudon once again.
Yeah, they did pick the Groudon for the second time, which, you know, it's an interesting call. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, how the different maps may lead to some different strategies, but teams have kind of favored Kyogre, so it might be a little bit surprising to see the second game also go for the Groudon map, but taking a look at this here, trying to catch out Burzy early. They do find them lurking in that tall grass, forces them to have to back up a little bit, but IX in full control here in that central area. Liko just standing right in the center. There's not too much TI Gang can do about it as they throw some snipe shots the other side.
Smuglax, only level 10 against this level 13 Blastoise, which could be problematic when we go for the 1v1 there. Snipe Shot misses the mark there. Dark Pulse looking to do some damage, and they do connect onto Smuglax, now at half HP. Might be a little bit problematic. Riker looking to shred through that Blastoise, misses there. Another Dark Pulse going to connect on Whaley. I believe that Headache Gauge does pop. Snipe Shot connects on Clash on the Eldegoss. That's a nice hit there for Liko. Another Dark Pulse is going to connect on Whaley once again. There's that Revenant Ren, there's the Hydro Typhoon, there's some shields stolen immediately from IX Gaming, but Sarah Ledge goes down. T-Gang still upright. Another Snipe Shot's gonna miss the mark, and now T-Gang is on their heels. Some low HP bars that way. Clash gonna force to move backwards in their own central area. Burzy in the Mega Form gonna have to retreat back that way. And now Darkrai and the Scyther both go down for T-Gang.
Wow, TI Gang holding on right here. Great fight from them, able to take out the Ceruledge really early. The Revenant Ren went in, great job from them, and then the Smuglax were following up with that Unite move, but TI Gang was ready for it this time. They were able to obliterate the Ceruledge as soon as they went in, but Liko still getting the secure on the Groudon, just silently ripping it before TI Gang could respond, and even after kind of losing that endgame fight, IX Gaming is going to take the objective and start pushing forward.
Good plays there by Liko, even better from Smuglax to make sure that they're able to zone out that Blastoise from getting forward. So IX Gaming knew exactly what they needed to do there. 50 points, double it, make it 100. And that's going to be a 2-0 victory, ending IX Gaming's week number 2 with a 4-2 record.
Yeah, they look really, really good right now. Their team fight is incredible, and even if in some of those moments where you do lose a couple members in your team fight, it's not as clean as we've seen from them, they're still able to pull out these wins very handedly. They don't panic, and they're able to get some really high value off of Liko in that backside. 6 KOs. Great job from them. Great job from the whole team, and TI Gang is going to drop now to 1-4. But do they have another game this week? I can't remember if they do.
No, this is it.
Oh no, they do.
Yeah,
this
is it.
TI Gang plays versus
T-Gang, yeah.
Extinction, but IX Gaming is now done for the week. Really solid record for them. I'd be pretty happy with that if I'm them, especially with the Titans of NA being currently at 0 losses.
Yeah, that's not a great look, but IX Gaming certainly looking pretty good there. 44k from Riker, but I mean, the thing with Riker is they were kind of off laning a lot of that match. You saw them take objectives kind of by themselves, just making sure that they're staying up on their levels, capturing wild Pokemon, taking those Regielekis, scoring those back caps. So not super surprised that the damage numbers aren't high. I mean, you even see the damage taken there, only 19k. So it kind of tells that side of the story.
To take 5,200 damage in a game. Look at Liko's damage taken number. 61k done, 5,000 damage taken, which means that nobody touched Liko the entire time. He just stood in the back. There was nothing that could have outranged him on the other side. Scyther was not really able to get back in on him the entire time. That is ridiculous, and it just kind of shows how good IX Gaming's front line is with insulating that back line.
And we are going to see some of these replays in game number 2. And this is a good security there from Burzy. Very heavily contested Registeel right there, which is very, very important. So let's take a look at this in the Registeel. We're rewinding. Nice little surf there from Whaley to push Rob away. Does have some cooldowns, hits the dual wing beat, and it's Suicune, but is it the Dragon Breath that's right there?
Yeah, it was, I think. Yeah, Dragon Breath. I gotta see. Wait, we gotta see that again. Dragon Breath just was put on the ground, right? Yeah. Okay, so it was put on the ground. Yeah, crazy. That's kind of a devastating secure, honestly, to be able to take that
I mean,
away.
you had a lot on there, right? I mean, you had Suicune put that Whirlpool down to try to freeze up a couple Pokemon, just didn't quite have it. You had the dual wing beat on there. I thought for sure it was going to be Scyther getting it. And then this is that push that ensued. I mean, you have Burzy going all the way into the T2, and you have IX actually like fully converging on the top side there, scoring all their points, allowing Burzy to kind of just make their home in this like central area and on that T2.
This is a really good play here. You kind of you take Darkrai in the draft in this situation to do exactly what the Darkrai was doing. You know, grab the Mega Gyarados when they're in their Mega and trap them inside the Unite move so they can't really do anything. And it's definitely a really good call. Darkrai is a great counter to some of these Mega Pokemon for that reason. But still, IX, wasn't really too worried about it. Even when they did lose Gyarados to the Darkrai Unite move, they still had Liko in the back line. They still had Riker to be picking up a ton of KOs and still doing a lot of damage.
Ooh, it had a little bit of lollipopping from the snipe shot. It looked like it was a little bit short or a little bit wide, and then obviously still connected. That's just one interesting thing that happens with snipe shot. I don't know if it's like a lag thing or whatever it is, but here we go with the Groudon fight. You see Pyro hitting some really nice dark pulses there, especially on Whaley and Liko. This is a nice little snipe shot. It actually doesn't connect because they get the Serral Edge early on. More snipe shots here from the backline. I like the spacing from Liko throughout this fight.
Yeah, the spacing's really good, and then you have Darkrai peel back immediately to trap Burzy in the Unite move. We see them do it right here, and then you kind of think, like, that might be the game, but that also means if Darkrai's trapped in their Unite, and if Mega Gyarados is trapped in the Darkrai Unite move, Darkrai's also in there, so it just kind of gave IX Gaming a little bit more of an opening to go after some of the remaining Pokemon on the side of TI Gang, and we saw Liko not even be hit a single time in that entire fight. They weren't hit at all. I don't think they were touched the entire time, which is absolutely insane. But there were a couple really good full heals from that engagement. As soon as Revenant Ren went in, you saw 2 full heals pop, and that kind of gave T-Gang a huge advantage in that moment because they were able to pick up Riker, and they had a really good advantage. Like, they were definitely winning that fight, but it just kind of goes to show how good IX is in those moments, even if there is a lot of pressure.
True. All right, trainers. Well, we are going to take a quick break. So on the opposite side of that, we are going to have our second round matchup, which is going to be Aftermath and Dignitas, which I think is going to be an interesting one. We'll see how it goes.
This is a match
it's going to be tough.
Day. You're not going to want to miss this one.
I mean, you have the number 1 team in the league, or tied for number 1 undefeated team, and then you have the team that is still looking for a win. So we'll see if Aftermath can pull a rabbit out of a hat or get back into this league format.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
maybe even put a hat on a rabbit or something like that.
Maybe. Sometimes you just gotta do something.
Maybe just put a hat on a rabbit. Play Cinderace or something. Put a hat on it. Maybe you could win.
All right, Chase, we are going to go back to break, so don't go too far. Grab a snack, grab a drink, whatever you need to do. We'll be back with that round 2 matchup after a short break. Welcome back, trainers. Pokemon Unite Championship Series. It is week number 2, day number 2. It is also match number 2, and we're gonna have Extinction, or not? Sorry, not Extinction. Maybe someone's going to extinct after this one, but it's gonna be.
I think eventually they will. But
Dignitas and Aftermath, 4-0 versus 0-4. Something's gotta give here. We'll see how it goes. Dignitas certainly looking to be that undefeated squad here.
Yeah, I am ready for this one. Let's take a look at these drafts here. We do see the Mega Lucario making it through. The coding also picking up Ceruledge. We saw them playing a little bit yesterday. We got Snorlax in the match, Eldegoss and Miraidon, so very classic composition here for Aftermath. Dignitas, though, pulling out a couple of interesting picks. We've seen that Otter has liked this Darkrai, but we are seeing Zacian too.
Zacian coming to the Thea Sky Ruins, and Otter's actually going to go, Darkrai, and we're going to see this Central Area Latias, or maybe just a little bit of a split there. So Latias is making a little bit of a push down towards that bottom side, but Egg is going immediately for this blue buff, looking to steal it.
Oh, they take it! Yes, they take it. They're able to get the invasion here. We've got both the support and the tank players for Aftermath in the enemy central area. They take that from Darkrai as well. Poor Otter is being suffocated right now in their central area. Zealot as well dropping a little bit low here. They have to bring Ender in to help out against this Snorlax.
Yeah, it's his funny little friend, Otter's funny little friend, the Psyduck, coming up towards this central area for a little bit of a support maneuver, looking for that red buff. This time, Egg not as fortunate. Down to the bottom path, Zugrug doing a pretty good job of closing down this Miraidon, although Miraidon was able to take that little piece of experience for themselves. Going to try to push them in with a nice full foul play. And Snorlax taking a little bit of a nap here. That's what Snorlaxes do. Toon trying to work those Eon stacks, doing a pretty good job of that. And on the top side, 3v3, actually not going too bad for Aftermath.
Yeah, no, not looking bad at all, but Zealot wants to try to grab the coding. Not able to. They do have a focus band, it looked like, on Ceruledge right there. Otter now in a little bit of trouble. Ender has to back them up. They're getting very low. I believe that was a potion that they just popped, but don't underestimate the Eldegoss basic attacks. They will be able to close the door on that one.
And it's pretty nice here for Aftermath. They're going to help this Lucario get nice and stacked up, which will be very beneficial towards the later side of this map. And now we have this Miraidon trying to hold off for the last hit on this one. Lacoting farming their central area. Ender doing, once again, a lot of defensive stands in the central area, keeping Aftermath away from these buffs.
Yeah, Lucario almost taking down Zealot as well on the Zacian. Oh, looks like somebody's getting caught there. Zugrug will be taken down in the central area. Looks like they were trying to get some vision. Did not expect to run into multiple members of Aftermath, but here comes Otter now for the reinforcements, and they will be able to pick up that KO.
1 HP in a dream, and the dream came to reality for the Zacian. Just able to squeak out that KO with the support of that Darkrai and Ender to the rescue, but 3v2 up here. Darkrai going to have to go underneath the Thea Sky Ruins just to get away. Zacian in hot pursuit, though. Also going to try to take down this Altaria family. Metal Claw into that. Meteor Mash actually pushes them into Dignitas, and I believe Dignitas was able to come away with at least a little bit of that experience.
Ooh, great pull there from Ender. Be able to pull them back with that Psychic. They were able to grab that Snorlax as a KO, but Zealot gets taken right out the other way. I don't know if they expected that there would still be 3 members there when they jumped in, but Zacian is only level 6, so, you know, not as great of an engagement as you would like.
Good secures here for Aftermath. They're going to take that Reg Ice, the first objective, real big objective of the game, going into their pocket. Toon kind of holding out that bottom side along with that Miraidon, making sure that no one's able to take those goal zones off the map. Here comes a Unite move from Toon right into Medoa, into a full charge beam, and now we have this Ceruledge coming down there, and Toon immediately gets eliminated. Ender going to have to try to surf away this Eldegoss.
Yeah, I gotta say, a little bit of an int there from Toon. I'm not sure what the plan was there. Trying to take down the Miraidon with their Unite move, which admittedly isn't extremely powerful, even against an attacker like Miraidon. But Dig still has the advantage, the positional advantage at least, over here at this Regieleki. But here comes Aftermath, looking to shred it down with a charge beam.
looking to secure it, and it's actually going to be Otter on the Darkrai. Miraidon going to try to hit some more Thunder Charge Beams, but we have that Mega Lucario looking to take down one. Zugrud scrambling back towards their side of the map, trying to avoid a lot of those close combats, and it's going to be Aftermath forced to pick up the pieces, try to take this Regieleki down before it walks into their T1 goal zone, but I think that mission is going to be easily accomplished.
Yeah, Mega Lucario, not looking too bad here. Looks honestly really good. Just does a lot of damage. You just got to make sure that you are getting enough experience to have your Unite move up for all of these fights. Interesting to see the Snorlax kind of positioned up in this top path. Is this a stacking Snorlax? I can't remember. I don't think it was Flail, but they left them up in the top path by themselves to, I guess, get some stacks in or just try to increase their levels. I'm not really sure what that decision's about.
Yeah, I think it is a Flail-Axe, and now it's Dignitas looking to push this T1 goal zone. Miraidon with a pretty good defensive stand. Charge Beam's going to connect on the wild Pokemon. Good play by Zugrug, pulling Egg into harm's way, forcing out the Cotton Cloud Crash. Now Egg is on the offensive, along with the Unite move from the Miraidon for the defense. There's a heavy slam. It's actually a heavy slam from the Snorlax. That's going to go in. Stealing some shields is Zugrug. That's a lot of shielding right there. Forces the Snorlax Unite move out, and Otter's the one that's going to be falling down there. More Charge Beams charging through Dignitas, and there's that block from Snorlax. And again, chasing down with these Thunders is looking pretty good, but Ender's doing a fantastic job surfing them away with Psyduck.
This is interesting for me to be seeing the Latias with Dragon Breath as well, but did really good there, able to take out the Eldegoss Lakoti, now trying to get away from this Darkrai. They will be able to catch, no, they don't catch Toon there. They do send them into the worst nightmare before Toon can go down. Pretty good KO there from Otter on that Darkrai. Now a little bit of a 1v1. Zealot just gonna go ahead and use the Unite move, may as well take down that Mega Lucario.
Lucario is going to be really strong, but when you can take him down, you absolutely take it. No Unite move for them right now, so that means Dignitas has the green light to go for this Regieleki, already shredding it down with Toon and Otter, while Zugrug and Ender do a good job of zoning everybody out. But here comes Eggnoob, here comes Mega Lucario from downtown, does not get it. Good secures here from Otter. Ender now trying to defend their damage carries, and Snorlax and Mega Lucario into the front line. Otter in some danger, going to go underneath the ground again. Theory dangerously low, has been pulled by the by the Psyduck, and they're able to survive. Umbreon and Psyduck both go down, but here comes Zealot, looking to take him down, takes down 2, takes down 3, and Dignitas finally back into this one.
You can't just let Zealot charge up that Metal Claw right there and walk into 3 low HP Pokemon. That's obviously going to spell out disaster in that situation. But all that being said, Aftermath picking up some really valuable KOs. They have been holding on throughout this entire game. There is not much of a level differential here. They can absolutely win this if they just get a little bit more experience and prepare for a big team fight.
We have 15 seconds until this objective. It's going to be that Reggie Roulette. We'll see which one rolls up into this top path. And it's actually going to be Dignitas looking for a little bit of a push here early on. Psyduck is going to snuff out where that Snorlax is hiding in the tall grass. Dignitas still looking to try to siege this goal zone, but it's actually going to be Zealot shredding through this Registeel, and that's going to be fully Dignitas's objective.
Yeah, Registeel, not what you want to see if you're Aftermath going over to Dignitas' side, because that's going to give them increased attack and special attack. Looks like they're getting ready to try to start this fight off. Great foul play! Immediately 2 are down for Aftermath.
That is big right there for Dignitas, who's looking to close this one out. You're going to get a third, and Zugrug has completely zoned out the other 2. Now that means the focus is going to be on this Groudon. Eggnoob trying to get in there. Here's the Cloud Crash, but it's going to be too late. And Dignitas looking like they're going to be able to take this game 1.
I was gonna say, I've seen a Cotton Cloud Crash do it before. I would love to see it do it again, but no, it is gonna be Dignitas. They just didn't give Aftermath any time to prepare for a fight, so they just pulled the fight right at them before they could even react, and that's kind of Dignitas's game, right? They decide when the fights are gonna happen. You have to kind of do things on their terms, and in this situation, it really worked out for them. 470 to 70 right now, so 400-point lead. Not too sure how Aftermath is going to come back in this one.
Me neither. But honestly, Husky, this was a closer game than I think anybody could have imagined. Aftermath was in this game for pretty much the entirety of it until obviously Groudon was taken, but they had some really strong moments all throughout this match.
Yeah, they looked really good. They did get some good KOs throughout. I just, it's happened to every team. Like, regardless of how experienced the team is, sometimes you get caught off guard with the end game fight, and you're not able to pull it out. You can't get your Unite moves out in time. I think that's kind of what we saw there. But if Aftermath, prepares for the worst a little bit better, then, maybe they could pick a game up. I don't know.
Gotta get that Mewtwo Y Unite into the main
Crazier
objective.
things have happened, yeah.
Crazier things certainly have happened. But yeah, Dignitas kind of handling business, everything as you would expect in game number 1, looking to continue on their pathway forward of being one of those few undefeated teams. And so far, so good in their mission to accomplish just that. One more win is going to send them to be 5-0 on the season with a date with, I believe, Citadel Gaming later in the evening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are going to be able to see them once again after this set, but taking a look at our stats here, Zealot with a good amount of KOs, same with Otter, Toon even playing the Latias in that kind of, I guess, the attacker role here. Yeah. Able to pick up some viable KOs. The Latias was an interesting one because we normally, I guess, what's the other one? It's Dragon Pulse, I feel like we normally see, but they were playing the Dragon Breath, which was doing a good amount of damage for them.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the damage numbers show, but yeah, I think normally you do see that Pulse. Yeah, 68k, that's actually not too bad.
Yeah, it's really
good.
So,
it's actually a moveset that I like. It doesn't have as much self-sustain as something like that Dragon Pulse does, but it's still able to dish out a lot of it. And once you hit that, I believe it's 65, I can't remember what the exact number is for Dragon Breath, but it makes it quite a longer range, which certainly is beneficial when you're lacking a lot of range on your team. So I do think that was a very strong play there. But yeah, I mean, looking good, Dignitas. And honestly, again, I am surprised with how well Aftermath played in this one, all things considered.
Yeah, they look pretty good. I do like the Cerule Edge. We've kind of seen it a lot over the past couple of days, appearing kind of, I guess it's kind of back. Like, it used to be really good. It was in a lot of games and then kind of fell off a little bit, and now we're seeing it claw its way back in. And, it looked good. The Mega Lucario also looked really good. There was a really good team composition for Aftermath. They just kind of have to clean up a little bit of, positional, macro awareness type of skills, and they can definitely perform well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should start fearing the Aftermath. Who knows? Honestly, all things considered, again, I think this Cooliger substitution has actually paid dividends for them. They've certainly looked better in the last, I guess, this week opposed to last week. So I do like, adding that sub in to allow them to play. I think just adding a little bit more experience is going to pay a little bit more dividends in the long run. This is a great secure here. Was that the last little hit of or not Dragon Pulse, Dark Pulse from Otter to get that one?
Yeah, they almost had it with the Mega Lucario as well. This was a great fight for Mega Lucario. They were able to pick up a couple of KOs there, and this was the moment for Zealot. They just kind of walked in on 3 of them, and they were able to get some KOs. But yeah, Dig obviously always looks good. We're talking a lot about Aftermath because it's kind of expected that Dignitas wins this game. And it's honestly expected that they absolutely crush Aftermath. So we're focusing more on Aftermath here because it's kind of surprising how well they're doing, all things considered. And I would like to see them start winning some games. I think, their attacker player has a lot of positional difficulties, but that also just comes with experience. And there's some good players on this team. They seem to be doing pretty decently. So I feel like maybe later in the season, we see them really pick it up.
We do. Yeah, this is a really close KO, almost getting Toon right there in the central area. And I did want to provide a little bit of clarification because I needed clarification. I asked him how it's pronounced because there's been some confusion. Some people say Zealot, some people say Zealot. And Zealot says it's whatever's easier for you, which I think is so kind.
Well,
but he said,
Zealot
but normally
is a word.
I know, but normally I tell people it's pronounced Zealot. So
really, okay,
yeah.
Zealot is not a word, and Zealot is a word. So that's interesting. I guess you can pronounce your gamer tag however you want, but you should just let them know that that's incorrect. Husky said no.
Husky said absolutely not. That's absolutely legal. This is a really great catch here from Zugrug to be able to foul play right there, kind of getting a couple members there, and then that second hit into the Dark Pulse, and then immediately going up with that Moonlight Prance, stealing some shields, getting the KO on the Serral Edge, and damaging this Lucario enough to get that double KO. So incredible. So it's actually Zacian that ended up getting the Lucario, but either way, Zugrug with a great play there.
Yeah, and then you're taking out your most valuable Unite moves as well, getting those KOs, the Revenant Ren and the Mega Lucario not able to come out in that fight. And at that point, like, what are you going to do? You know, there's no Cotton Cloud Crash to heal you because you're already back in the Pokemon Center. There's not too much that you can do in that situation besides look for a Groudon steal. They went for it, and it was a little bit too late. So I think, you know, that's a tough one for Aftermath to lose those two players very immediately, but that's just kind of the way that Dignitas plays. They're playing on their terms. You will get into the fight when they want you to, and they're not a team that's really caught off guard.
Yeah, they normally are. I mean, and we saw that last night against IX, one of the better teams in the league. Obviously, 4-2 on the season, so they've been able to beat most of everybody. Their only losses are to those undefeated teams. They lost to Evil Geniuses, and now they lost to Dignitas last night. And they even took a map off of Evil Geniuses, if we recall, week number 1, where they took game number 1 against them. Evil Geniuses able to, you know, gather themselves, win those next 2 to take that set, but IX Gaming's not a bad squad either, so Dignitas able to take them down in 2 games is a bigger accomplishment than what most people would say. And Dignitas, obviously, I think probably the team to beat. I don't think that's like a hot take or anything, considering that they were able to win LAIC and now have taken that. I think the biggest test, I'm a little disappointed that it's not going to be, I believe, probably until week 3, but that Dignitas and Evil Geniuses match, when it happens, I am so excited for that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a really big match because that'll kind of cement who actually is the best team in the league right now and who's kind of filling out that second place at the moment. So I think that's kind of the rivalry that's being created in NA. And like we've been saying, there's a lot of contention for that 3, 4, 5 spot. And then it seems like the 6, 7, and 8 spot, we are kind of seeing how that's filling itself out. But, you know, that being said, Aftermath, very clearly the lowest ranked team in the league, very clearly, you know, we knew this going in, that they were going to be fighting an uphill battle all season, and they still were able to put up a little bit of a fight against who is probably the best team currently in the region in that game number 1. So we'll see what they might switch up or what strategies they might bring game number 2. You know what? I'd like to see Aftermath pull out a score comp. I feel like that would be sick.
Please. That would be kind of mean, honestly. I think that would be a little bit mean if they pulled it out.
I think they deserve it. They deserve that score comp.
What would you even run? Do you run Hoopa on that? Do you run just throw Ender on the Sableye? I mean, what do we do? And why do we need to do that? Like, do we really need to run a score comp? I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Aftermath wanted to be the ones to run it, just throw some goal-getters on, see if they can grab some points. I don't really know if Dignitas is the team that something like that works on, but it's difficult going up against a team like this who doesn't get caught off guard. You know, they're kind of prepared for everything. You can't really try to catch them out because they know exactly what you're doing. They kind of predict the future in that way. So it's difficult when you're Aftermath to try to come up with a way to capitalize on mistakes that are not being made.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what we'll get here. I don't think Dignitas probably plays their best comp, right? I think they don't want to give away whatever secrets that they're hiding for later in this evening. So I don't think that they'll play like whatever they think the best comp is. I think they want to try to, you know, play maybe a couple different things or whatever the case is. Yeah, Machamp, not the best Pokemon in the meta right now, so Zealot taking that one. there's probably a handful of all-rounders that you probably take over Machamp. Yeah, and we get a Dragapult. So I don't think this is going to be like their best comp, but they're trying out some different things.
Yeah, they're trying some different things, and they're still running some Pokemon that are obviously very good, but the Dragapult is not normally something that we'd see, but that is exciting for me. I absolutely love Dragapult, so, I hope it does well. At least it's not the Jungle Comfey that embarrassed us at NAIC.
That Jungle Comfey, yeah. Oh, nightmares. Game number 2, though, Dignitas versus Aftermath Esports. We are going to take that Dreepy into the central area, and it's going to be Dragapult. We'll see if we get a Dragon Dance or if it'll be that Phantom Force, but immediately, once again, we are going to have this double invade. Both the Vaporeon and the Hoopa going to look to converge on 2.
Yeah, if you're going to be invading, a Dragapult is a good one to invade. They're getting very, very low. They have to get away as quickly as possible. This is a squishy little Dreepy. Not too much you can do against an invasion here from Aftermath Esports. You got to have Ender come back in. This time, my friend the Duck is back, but Dreepy probably even worse than Darkrai being invaded in the previous game, because that thing is just not good early.
And immediately, now you have 3 invaders into the central area as Lakoding joined the party. And that's going to be a red buff taken away. But down the bottom side, Otter doing their best job to bully away this Miraidon from stacking and getting all the experience to themselves. But Theory coming down to the bottom pad, there is that Muddy Water. It's going to stun up the Darkrai, but not a lot of damage at this stage of the game.
Yeah, not too much damage, but Aftermath is creating a lot of space and getting some of their levels up, trying to keep this Dragapult as a Dreepy for as long as possible. They will be able to do it, at least for the time being. It's still only level 4, so it's going to have to get back into that central area as quickly as possible.
And we're going to see if... Oh, sorry, my screen just went blank. What the heck?
Oh.
Okay, let me...
Is it still?
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Okay,
I'm back. I'm back.
All right.
We're so back. There we go. Yeah, we got the Snorlax fighting in the central area. Vaporeon able to steal that away from Ender. We actually have a Bubble Beam on this Psyduck.
Oh, I like the Bubble Beam. I feel like Surf is just so powerful because it's annoying, but Bubble Beam is still a really consistent move. I like it especially with a Dragapult that's doing a ton of basic attacking. We do see Hoopa take out Ender there in their own central area, but for now, Aftermath is going to be backing out, looking for Lucario here. Is this Machamp? Zealot not able to do it.
Might be able to do it now. Finally
okay.
gets
I don't know
that
why you
submission.
go back in, but, okay.
Yeah, looking pretty good. You're going to get that 30 points, maybe a couple extra stacks, but Hoopa playing with a little bit of tempo, going to try to stop this Machoke from stacking in. Also, 2 additional members, so it's going to be a 3-on-1 as Lucario also coming down here. 30 points in on the bottom side. That's Otter scoring that, another 5, and Dignitas getting off to a pretty good start on the bottom side, whereas Aftermath is prioritizing this top.
I like the decision here from Aftermath to just send multiple members up into the top path, because at least then you're getting some value somewhere on the map. And I also like how Lakoding has been playing this Scyther. They've just been standing behind the Vaporeon and Hoopa the entire time. It gives them some opportunities to get set up. But yeah, Aftermath pretty easily going to be able to take this Regieleki, whereas Dignitas looking for this basement objective.
We're able to break that T1 goal zone, and when you have a Dragapult on the map, you're able to shred through objectives. And that's exactly what happens. Otter also able to take out this Miraidon. Gonna go underground, try to take out Lakoding. There's another Dark Pulse. I keep wanting to say Dragon Pulse. Burns the eject button to avoid the Hoopa. Might put them to sleep. There's that Shadow Claw into the Dark Pulse. Are they gonna get it? Vaporeon also trying to stun them, but they come up through another hole a little bit more far away from this Vaporeon. Flip turn, gonna stun them up. Also avoiding that dual wing beat. Lakoding.
No way you get out, right?
No. Forces the Unite move up just to make sure he goes down.
That's actually so funny. You just use the Unite move because you're annoyed and you have another team fight that you gotta get to, so you gotta finish this one up quicker. You see Vaporeon Unite move come out there, stuns up a few members of Dignitas, but it looks like Aftermath gonna go ahead and back out for the time being.
Gonna back out. 126 to 88 going to be the scoreline currently. Dignitas still in the lead in both the points, but this Scyther is level 10, so a little bit ahead of the central area Pokemon, the Dragapult, who's also just now come to parity.
Yeah, Dragapult was a little bit behind at first, but they are now level 10, so they are almost matching the Scyther on the other side, who has gotten to a really advanced level 11. So pretty good look for the Scyther, at least on Aftermath, doing pretty good with the level differential so far. Right now, Aftermath kind of setting up in the top path. They know that in a couple seconds we will be seeing Regieleki appear up there, so they're posturing already for a potential fight.
Yeah, Regieleki in that top path. You do have a little bit of positional advantage with that T1 goal zone. Zealot going to check this tall grass. Additional tall grass, because this is a Kyogre map opposed to that Groudon. 4 members up here with the Hoopa holding that bottom side, making sure that Dignitas doesn't score anything in that T2. Zugrug with the Zugrug play, looking to play a tempo on that T2. Regieleki comes to the top path, and Ender has the ability to get some vision here. Sees 4 members, including that Vaporeon. Going to maybe look to try to get a sneaky steal, but they did buy time for this Regice secure.
Yeah, they are going to be able to get the Regieleki in that top path while Ender just kind of watches the whole time, and it looks like Dig wants to potentially bait Aftermath into a push here. Great Psychic there to stop Lakoding in their tracks. And instead, Aftermath is going to peel off. And it looks like they might be going for a basement push onto this tier 1 goal zone while Otter devastates this poor Hoopa on their own path.
Going to send them in the nightmare as well. Looking to get maybe some more points in down there. Theory's going to try to a little bit of a score on that T1 as this Miraidon's going to try to shred through Zugrug. Heavy Slam is going to connect on there. Ender's Headache Gauge as well as a
Dragon Dance.
And we do have the Dragon Dance looking to chase down this Vaporeon. If they're able to get him, that could be pretty funny.
Dragon Dance is the moment here. It can avoid a little bit of what the Scyther is trying to do as well. Miraidon unfortunately caught here. There's not really too much they can do when they're pincered suddenly by 3 members of Dig, and they might look for this Regidragon. No, actually, they're just going to go right up into this top path, look to break this tier 1 goal zone.
42 and 40. It's going to be a nice, decent overcap of a little bit over 30 points. Lakoding in the central area, just making sure that they're able to capture their own wild Pokemon, because Dignitas has been able to grab vision and take a couple of them.
Yes, and Zugrug has just been kind of playing wherever they want throughout this game. I feel like they're just getting some vision. They know that Dig is far enough ahead where they can be farther forward to get this vision and not really worry too much about being picked off. So they're just standing in some tall grass, looking for where members of Aftermath are standing, and Dig, the rest of the team, can just kind of farm up, get ready for this end game.
Do have both objectives coming to the map. We're going to have a little bit of a split. Dignitas mostly prioritizing the bottom. We actually do see Zealot coming down towards this bottom pass, so it does look like they want to go ahead and take this basement objective. It's going to be a Reg Ice for this last little bit. 30 seconds until Kyogre.
Yeah, and we do have the Dragapult at level 30. There's a lot of dragons going on. It's easy to get them mixed up. We do have Dragapult now at level 13 on that Dragon Dance. It's interesting with the Dragon Dance as well, because you do have Vaporeon on the other side. You have Hoopa that has a pretty good amount of CC. It's always dangerous in a CC heavy meta to play something like this, but Dig is going to do what Dig wants to do. Once again, right as the 2-minute mark hits, Lucario gets absolutely obliterated.
Unable to use their Unite move, so they can't Mega there. Nice little submission to chase down this Vaporeon. Very dangerously low. They're going to flip turn into a berry, but get caught by the Psychic from Ender. And now Toon is going to force that Unite move out. Hoopa's going to bring the team in with the Rings Unbound. Kyogre now starting to get chipped down. Mega Lucario has hit the map, and now we have a full flip on. Miraidon throws some meteors down, but 2 members of Aftermath in the Pokemon Center. Miraidon next down the chopping block, but Aftermath! They're able to
Aftermath!
But they're gonna get obliterated.
Oh, they get it too. They are able to secure it somehow with the Scyther, but they're not going to be able to make it back. The Dragonite finishing off that Hoopa. And instead, Dignitas is going to look for an opportunity to push here. They did grab a couple of buffs away from Aftermath. It was a good effort there, but unfortunately for Aftermath, Dignitas once again is going to be able to take this game. Another 2-0 sweep for this squad, and they're going to go to 5-0 on the season.
5-0. Aftermath going to go 0-5, so right now in the basement of North America for them, unfortunately. They're going to have an uphill battle if they want to make this top 5, because there are some really strong teams and have already kind of taken them down that they'll have to fight through. Last 30 seconds here, Dignitas still pretty significant point lead in this one, and Aftermath really unable to traverse the opposite side of the map to get as many points in, so it should be an easy 2-0 sweep here for Dignitas as they'll look forward towards their Citadel Gaming match later this evening. And speaking of, got a little bit of a raid from Immortals. Welcome on in. Good luck. This is going to be the team that you take on later. Should be a good one.
Yeah, this Icarus Unite Chris Paul. It's a huge 3 to cut the lead down to 43. Yeah, that's what it felt like. That's exactly what it felt like in that game. But I feel like you just cannot, if you're on that Mega Lucario, you can't let that happen twice. Like that was just not good. You can't get caught, like you get caught out in the first game, you're like, oh, whoops, I got caught out. But then to get caught out again right as the 2-minute mark hit, like you have to know that's what they're gonna try to do. And both times the Mega Lucario just not in that fight at all in the end game. So unfortunate finish there for Aftermath, not able to pull out really much of anything in that game number 2. I feel like game number 1 they definitely looked better, and 11k damage on that Lucario, really not what you want to see.
Not what you want to see at all. But yeah, I mean, you had some good things in this round for Aftermath that you could continue to try to build on, right? I mean, they kind of held Dignitas in that first game. It wasn't a complete blowout in game 2. Definitely, able to steal that Kyogre, which certainly beneficial. Unfortunately, they weren't really able to do a whole lot with it. But either way, I mean, Dignitas, what can you say? This is one of the teams to beat here in our North America region.
Yeah, absolutely. Dig going to 5-0, kind of expected here in this set, and they will be able to. They'll play maybe a little bit more of a contested game later on. Well, I guess we'll see. But yeah, some of the replays from this match, just funny. That was funny. I don't know. It was funny.
It was
to
funny.
use the Unite move on the Darkrai there, because Otter was able to stay up and thriving for so long. But yeah, this Mega Lucario was just unfortunate. I don't know if they probably just had a bad game, but they got caught out in game number 1, and then they just didn't really play at all in game number 2. It was just kind of unfortunate to see.
We're gonna take a look at some of the replays here in our game number 2. And, okay, here we go. We're going to get a little bit of a rewind here as Toon was looking to try to chase down Theory. And this is, I believe, was this the moment where Otter just kind of ropes and jukes and dives everybody? I can't remember. If
No,
that's
we
this
saw
one.
that already.
Oh, okay.
You weren't paying
Huge.
attention to me, I guess.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's take a look at this end game fight. So watch Zealot here on the Machamp. You kind of know exactly where they're going to be coming from. We did see Lucario get the Unite move out. Zealot gets very low as they're backing up. So Lucario is in Mega form right now, looking to rip that Kyogre. That's kind of exactly what you want to see them do here. But Zealot almost going down here. Hits the Unstoppable into the Barrage Blow, grabs Theory as they're walking in, and then ejects over to Mega Lucario. Just a great play from Zealot there to make sure that Mega Lucario can't continue the rip. The eject button as well, hitting the Unite move at the exact perfect time to avoid the stuns from the Vaporeon. Just very well played there from Zealot.
Yeah, you see the pattern, the movement pattern that we have here. It's like drawing up the X's and O's on a football match. And football game. They call it games. Well, I guess it's a match if it's like a soccer, like English football. American football, they call it games. But anyway, pretty fun
great
stuff.
Great job, Kyle. Thank you so much for that analysis.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I guess we're gonna watch it again. Watch it in real time. Rewind it back and watch it again. We're still. We're not rewinding. We're going in. So we do also see Lakoden going for the Dragapult here, which we didn't really see a ton of, but they went up into that top path, but then they were caught by Otter. So that's kind of what you want to do if you're Scyther. you want to grab whoever is the squishiest on the team, just go for that immediately. But then Otter responds because Dig knows that's what Lakota is going to want to do in that situation. So they throw them into the nightmare. They're able to yep, there they go, into the nightmare, keeping them outside for a while, not really able to do too much to get that secure. And then it is going to be that they are able to come out and grab it, but it didn't end up mattering, unfortunately. Good secure by them, but a great hold there from Otter to make sure the Dragapult never went down. They threw them into the Unite move for a second there, and, you know, lucky secure there from the site there, but unfortunately for Aftermath, just not too much you could do.
Yeah, Scyther looked good at times. Obviously got that secure, which was pretty nice. I'm still getting used to it.
I'm like super low in my seat. Hello.
Slouching. Yeah, I was like hunched
like...
over because I was trying to like get the drawing all figured out. Trying to figure out my mic situation too, because it keeps like, I guess, going in and out.
It's just when you're loud. It's really not that big of a deal.
Well, I like being loud. So
okay, well, shut up. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you make a good point. That said, we're gonna go to break. We have one final match going into this one. It's gonna be Lunex Gaming taking on Extinction. So don't go too far, trainers. It is going to be a fantastic match here for our round 3. Welcome in, trainers. Aftermath Esports just went down 0-2 to Dignitas, but we have one final match here for you this evening before we get to the main on-stream broadcast. It is going to be Extinction versus Lunex Gaming. Lunex Gaming has looked pretty good after their little bit of a stumble in week number 1 against those two premier teams of EG and Dignitas, but they have been undefeated ever since, if I'm not mistaken. Extinction looking to get back into the winning category.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good. I think we're getting the correct numbers up there right now. Yep. Lunex 3-2, Extinction 1-3. You know, Extinction, formerly Nemesis, has been, I feel like, a fan favorite team for a lot of people. They've been around for a long time. They've been Nemesis since season 1, and a lot of people were excited to see them make it in through the qualifiers, but they just have not been performing. So I think this is a good opportunity for them to kind of lock in, find their footing. That being said, Lunex has been performing really well. They're very consistent, and Extinction is playing with, or no, they're, what? Who's Bullymon fan? Who's that?
Bullymon fan. I imagine that's Yeet fan, maybe?
Is it?
Which is Relics? Maybe? I don't know. But let's get into it.
They're playing without Machisel, I think. So we'll see how it goes.
Alrighty,
that
so
is Yeet fan.
Yeah. So Lunex Gaming going to be on your purple side, Extinction on your orange side. Trainer is going to go into the central area with this Cub Fu. Wouldn't be super shocked if we see an invade, and it does look like Chansey along with IMAX on this Umbreon making their way that way.
Glad to see Trainer in the central area where they belong. IMAX trying to deal with now too. I don't think that they necessarily were prepared to have two members of Extinction follow them in there, but that means Tie-Dye is gonna be, Tie-Dye is gonna be able to get something done by themselves.
Not bad. Yeah, Tie-Dye able to do a lot of heavy lifting there.
Do they not know?
I don't know if they know.
They know he's there.
I don't think they know. Honestly, they didn't.
There.
Yeah,
I think they just kind of abandoned it because Urshifu is a tough one to jungle with early. It has a really bad clear, and it's just very squishy. It's kind of known to not be very good early, so trying to get that level 5 is an uphill battle.
2v2 in this top part. Lunear looking to secure a lot of this experience for themselves. Able to get a decent amount, but Metallic already level 5, so you got to be at least a little bit okay with how this early game has gone if you're Extinction outside of your level 4 Cub Fu.
Yeah, IMAX trying to get 10 points in. Not really sure if they're going to be able to do it against an Inteleon down there, but Extinction will be able to get a couple more points up at the top path. XP now popped for this Eldegoss, and 3 members of Lunex are going to try to chase him down.
Are going to go forward 3v2 on the offensive. Lunex Gaming looking to get some points in, but here comes Rex on this Vaporeon. Muddy Water able to stun up a couple. Blissey just running away into the back line, trying to maybe run a distraction arc. And Trainer LGC has now hit the bottom path, and IMAX trying to hold this portion. However, a lot of damage that way, and Extinction does get some value bottom side.
Yeah, tough against a water bear, and especially when there's 2 versus 1, and one of them is a water bear, it's going to be even more difficult. So Trainer now ripping down this Regidrago in the central area. If they are able to get this, it's going to be some good amount of experience, but Cinderace is going to be able to steal it away. We didn't get to see it. We're seeing instead the Charmander stacking a little bit more in that bottom path. They will end up going down, but that's a great secure there for the Cinderace, getting Lunex Gaming some more experience.
Do love seeing a good Cinderace game, and Metallic doing a good job up in this top path, forcing that X speed away from Tie-Dye as they pivot towards this Altaria family, where Lunex able to secure a majority of that themselves. Shadow Tag onto the Mimikyu or from the Mimikyu on the Serena once again. Doesn't take it. Here comes a big stomp, and Metallic gets a KO there.
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit of a bait there from Rex into 3 other members of their team, and they will be able to take down the Cinderace, which is an interesting pick. We didn't really talk too much about it, but, you know, not too bad on the Groudon map. You have a lot of extra vision when you have an auto-attacking Pokemon, but I think it could be proving to be a bit difficult against something like this Water Urshifu.
Nice little stun here from this Umbreon. Lumiar very low, ends up going down. Registeel now on the menu for Extinction if they're able to secure it, and the Urshifu able to accomplish that mission. Now going to make their way towards Tie-Dye. Another X-Speed burned as some points go into this T1 for Extinction, while Lunex Gaming prioritizing this Regieleki on the bottom side. Inteleon looking for that liquidation. Does connect there, but Celestial able to secure the Regieleki.
Able to pick up the Regieleki, but you kind of really wanted that Charizard with you if you were going to have any chance of actually pushing it in. And in this case, you might not be able to see it going. No, we do! Ooh. Huge pick off there. It is going to be Yifit now trying to contest, but Mimikyu pulls out the play with me. They are going to be able to push the Regieleki in and pick up a couple of high-value KOs. Ludier now looking to survive this encounter, and they might.
They might, but here comes Serena with a nice little stomp there. I like the separation that they did once the Shadow Tag happened. Unite move from Metallic, able to take down Lumiar. And that's a level 10 Mimikyu that went down to this level 9 Serena. So very good play here. Oblivion not yet having their Unite move, meaning that they're going to have to peel away from the Serena, who has done a fantastic job of keeping their levels up.
Serena is another Pokemon that we see only sometimes. It's not a bad choice, but it's not the best either. But certain players still play it very well, and Metallic is definitely one of them. He really plays this Pokemon at the highest level, kind of one of those early enjoyers of Serena, and he still likes to pull it out here and there in some of these games. The question is going to be, you know, against this normal Charizard, which is not a Mega Charizard, just a normal Nakey Charizard, which we saw Lunex play yesterday as well. Can Serena hold up against it? And we will be able to see that here.
Oh, there's that seismic slam from the Charizard. Finally takes out the Vaporeon. Still up in the sky, trying to continue their flame wave forward. And Serena moving backwards now as 4 points go on in from IMAX. Inteleon able to damage them deeply. Also able to take the KO. But Lumiar is going to immediately take out that Inteleon as they unite move. So great plays here for Lunex as they trade KOs back and forth.
Yeah, this Mimikyu looks really fantastic here. It just feels like whatever it gets on top of is being shred down right away. And Rex now trying to hold vision on them to make sure that they can't get back up to this Registeel for a potential steal here. Grabbing the Blissey KO, forcing IMAX backwards, and Eldegoss will be able to secure that objective while we see the Regieleki go over to Lunex in the bottom path.
A little bit of a trade here. IMAX going to try to prevent this massive overcap from happening in this T1 goal zone. Getting healed up by the Blissey. Eggs are on the menu here, but so is that 40-point dunk for Extinction. Now going to have to peel backwards towards this T2. We have Yeet Fan hanging on to this T2, finding a little bit of damage and a defensive stand there. Regieleki doesn't find its home in that T2.
That's a lot of damage that we're seeing come out from this liquidation. It's a really powerful move that we haven't seen in a while, but we're seeing teams start to pick it up kind of this weekend. A couple teams have been using it. With that sure hit and the very consistent damage, I think teams have found a lot of value in it. We see it there, taking so much off of IMAX. I think the problem here is you've got something like a Blissey with Soft Boiled to heal up so much of the damage that they're taking.
Yeah, and Extinction, right now, very small lead, only 10 points. Currently the advantage for them, but the levels actually look pretty good. You have 3 level 12s, and then your support's at level 10, so you got to be at least pretty happy with the state of the game, given everything.
It seems like a very even game right now. Metallic in a little bit of trouble. They will be picked up here. That's not good toward the 3-minute mark. That will give Mimikyu that level 13. And Charizard also looking to get pretty close to that break point.
2:30 on the clock, still a very small lead for Extinction as we get towards this first Groudon map. Extinction taking a little bit of position here.
Yeah, I think that this is a very evenly matched game so far. Both teams seem to be doing really well. We've got a couple level 13s on both sides. The supports are being leveled nicely. It really could go either way, and I think both teams know that, so they have to be prepared here for a big team fight. Looks like Extinction kind of taking point here. Metallic just kind of standing there, charging up that Queenly Majesty, and Extinction kind of has the positional advantage here, but one move from this Charizard, and we could see an entirely different scenario.
IMAX also grabbing vision as Metallic once again goes in, gets stunned up a little bit, but not a whole lot. Groudon still not getting touched there. Nice little liquidation onto Celestial. Mostly absorbed here from Lunex Gaming because of the eggs from Blissey. IMAX going to also eat an egg, try to keep themselves upright. And in the back line, we have Vaporeon engaging, but they're going to have to retreat. Missing the shadow tag was the Mimikyu.
Yeah, Mimikyu hitting a good shadow tag here on this Inteleon will absolutely win Lunex the game, and that's what they're looking for. Another big liquidation. Vaporeon, the Unite move is forced out from them. Big Unite move from the Charizard will take down this Vaporeon, and this fight is in full force, Kyle.
Yeah, we have Celestial into the backline. Charizard still trying to do the work here. Metallic able to take a Unite move, but doesn't find a whole lot of value. Charizard 1v1 versus Metallic. Who's going to come out ahead? Oblivion dangerously low, but going to get healed up by the Eldegoss. Actually, sorry, by the Blissey. There's finally that egg that they certainly needed. Groudon now starting to get chipped down. Already at half. We got to look for a secure. The feint was out from the Cinderace. Do they have it in them? They do.
It is the Charizard able to pull it out. The secure, I think it was the flamethrower there that was able to get it for a second. I thought maybe the Stomp would have hit it in time, but it is going to be Lunex able to take that objective. Can they get the points? And it looks like so far that answer is yes. And with only 30 seconds left for Extinction, I don't think they're going to have enough time to pull it back.
Yeah, only 20 seconds left, and they're going to have to make their way very far. And they're also going to have to fill some pockets. But Lunex Gaming already on the defense right now, hovering both those T2 goal zones. It's going to be a very difficult mission, and I think it's just going to come up to going into game number 2. But Extinction honestly looked pretty good this game.
Yeah, that was, yeah, Extinction looked fine. It was a little bit dangerous there for Lunex towards the end, and it was just kind of that lucky secure there from the Charizard able to bring it home. And it could have, I feel like it would have gone completely the other way if not for that Charizard secure there on the final objective. But looking at the KOs, looking at the levels from before, like very evenly matched game, and Lunex is the team that ends up pulling out game number 1. But this is so far the only match I feel like that we've seen today where it really seems like these two teams are close to the same level.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good game 1. Yeah, we did have, quite a bit of like lopsided matches throughout this weekend. Obviously, the round 2 matchup was kind of in that same vein, but yeah, I honestly looked pretty good overall here for Extinction, sitting at that 1-3 record. You would certainly love to get a little bit closer to that 500 mark at 3-3 by the end of this week, but they're gonna have a little bit of an uphill battle because right now Lunex Gaming up 1-0, and honestly, Husky, I actually really liked the Cinderace play. You don't oftentimes see this faint Cinderace, but it's definitely one of my favorite Pokemon to play.
Yeah, I mean, the KO numbers don't really show it, but they were putting out a lot of very consistent damage throughout the course of the game, and I think that it's a good response to, the draft that Extinction has. You've got 2 kind of divey all-rounders, and having the feint to be able to kind of catch them out a little bit more was, I think, very valuable. We see it here. The most damage on Lunex's side, 71k, just dealing a lot from that backline.
Doing a ton of damage. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking these compositions, and I don't know, like, every time I see liquidation on Inteleon, I'm like, this is pretty good, but then it just, there's something about the sure hit ability I'm not like a super big fan of, but it is what it is. It's still pretty valuable, but when you have this Mimikyu that's able to kind of dive the back line, and when Inteleon's kind of slow moving, it's kind of an easy target for it.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of these replays. Earlier in the game, we remember Trainer getting invaded on that Urshifu, and that kind of set Lunex up for a bit of an early advantage. This was a really good play here from Inteleon to grab that KO, but still, Lunex pulled it back, got a huge tag there on Trainer on the Urshifu, and then they were able to get that Regieleki in.
And immediately met with that play with me. They were able to get those couple KOs, right? But obviously you go down to the Mimikyu, which isn't great. But it did buy a bit of time here for Metallic to get down to this bottom path and 2v1. Again, I think I talked about it. I liked, like, once they got shadow tag, once Eldegoss got shadow tag, they kind of separate, or they kind of like grouped up, so you kind of prevent Mimikyu from going in. I liked that, and this is kind of where things started to turn around, I think, for Lunex Gaming, because they were kind of down here, and this was a really, really good push for them.
Yeah, they looked really good at this moment in time, and they were able to pull back up here, trying to defend against Lunex, trying to get a couple more points in. IMAX was able to get that 4, but that's kind of really all that Lunex got, and a lot of them did end up being taken down here. Just a good fight for Extinction to kind of pull them back in this game, but this Mimikyu just looked insane. Like, I feel like if there's anything on Lunex that really stood out in that game, we talked about the Cinderace being a good option. Charizard obviously had a really good moments, but this Mimikyu was just kind of ridiculous the entire time, hitting every shadow tag. We see them there jumping in on Yeet Fan. As soon as they try to get away, you hit them with the Play With Me. It just looked very unstoppable from Luneair.
Yeah, it's just like a really well-timed. And then you have Umbreon stealing a couple of shields. Eldegoss trying to heal up everybody. And then there's this 1v1 here. Sorry, yeah, that 1v1 here that didn't quite go the way that you wanted. You have the Serena able to do a lot of damage, picks up the Unite move, but again, just they didn't find really a whole lot. They get that Mimikyu, but then you kind of also trade your Urshifu. Eldegoss tried to get that Pollen Puff onto the Charizard, doesn't get it there, and Charizard just walks away on 1 HP. And
I think this is where we see if this was the flamethrower that ended up getting it. You mentioned as well, like, Charizard not going down in that fight was huge. That meant that they were up for this secure. Great KO, and the Umbreon is now 4v3, and still the Charizard hits it with the flamethrower here. Is that what ends up getting it? It looks like that's what they're charging up. A lot of damage going on to this Groudon as well, but yeah, it was Charizard that ended up being... Oh, we're zooming in.
Ooh,
oh, okay.
Zooming in.
Oh, all right. Yeah, let's see it. The zoom in.
This is great.
See it? It is the flamethrower coming out. Yeah, just very well timed flamethrower right there to end up taking that secure. Very well played. Especially after losing the Umbreon there, it was 4v3, and then to just make sure you bring it home, don't give up anymore. It definitely a well-played game there from Lunex.
Yeah, you just didn't really have like a whole lot that you could do there. Rex had a little bit of crowd control, but you can only crowd control one Pokemon, and yeah, well played there for Lunex Gaming getting that secure. We do have a little bit of information now on what we're going to see going into game number 2. We are going to see Kyogre as the map of choice.
Nice. Okay, so switching it up this week, Groudon is the first map of the week regardless, and then the teams can choose which one they want to go with. So going with Kyogre this time, and interesting bans here from what we can see. It looks like Blastoise was banned, and Mewtwo Y and Buzzwole from Extinction, and Megachar Y, Psyduck, and Clefable banned from Lunex. So not super common bans that we tend to see, but it's very clear from both of these teams that the bans are geared towards setting them up for a specific strategy that's well countered by what those bans are.
Yeah, you're banning the Clefable specifically because Rex is quite a good Clefable, and it kind of enables, I think, the play style that Extinction likes to play. I think you ban that Psyduck. I think Psyduck also kind of just like, you're trying to limit their best players, and I think Rex is certainly one of them.
Yeah, the Psyduck is also super annoying right now. We've seen it banned regardless of, how good the player is on it, the support or defender player that plays it on any given team. The Buzzwole ban is probably the most interesting thing here. I guess, there's a couple players on Lunex that can play it pretty well, but to me, that means that there's some kind of strategy that Extinction wants to set up because they've now banned it in both of these games. So yeah, I guess we'll see what they end up going with here. Got a lot of options for who we want.
A lot of options.
A lot of options for who we're going to watch. But seeing that Luneair is on the Mimikyu again, to me, is definitely a good call, because that to me was like the star of the show in that last game.
Certainly was. Well, let's get into game number 2. Lunex is going to be on your purple side. I do believe that it's actually technically Extinction that had that first pick, but because of the way we are spectating, Extinction going to be now on your orange side. But let's get into game number 2, Husky. We'll see where this Mimikyu goes. I imagine we're going to see Mimikyu up to the top path, and it's going to be this Inteleon in the central area.
Okay, interesting. That actually surprises me a little bit. I would have expected to see Charizard head to that central area, but I guess you're trying to get Inteleon online very quickly. You're also sending for a double invasion here. So sending both
Double.
Snorlax and the Blissey toward that enemy central area will be met there by that Eevee. And right now, very scrappy start of the game. You're just trying to get some invasions going on. Everybody's all over the place.
I'm actually doing a pretty good job, and Trainer is actually going to have to go towards this T2 goal zone. Otherwise, it would have likely gone down. Good plays there from Bora. Honestly, good play from Extinction just to be ready for this invade. I don't know if we saw it, but there was a double invade because Tie-Dye was also kind of going into the invade, and Rex was kind of pathing the similar way. So it was actually a very fun way to kind of see how these teams were lining up.
Oh, the rest from the Snorlax. They're able to hold on. No way. They get out of that in that situation. And still, Lunex picks up a KO the other way. Eevee will go down. I believe that is Umbreon for Extinction there. So Umbreon, Vaporeon as your core. That is, that's dangerous.
Gonna lay down the electric terrain. Extinction was able to find a KO onto the Snorlax, but Revenge Oblivion gets it onto the Miraidon. I'm unsure why we stayed there. Very unfortunate play there, and the top path going quite well. And we are a Safeguard Blissey this time.
Okay, Safeguard Blissey and a Play Rough Mimikyu. So even though Lunex picked up their Mimikyu again, they've changed the style just a little bit. I guess they like the idea of the Play Rough better here. They will miss it there, or they don't miss it there. They just don't use it there, and then they back up with it instead. So Rex now looking for this Blissey, and it's going to be interesting with the Safeguard, how that ends up working out for them.
I think it worked out pretty decently there. You kind of avoid all that crowd control from the Muddy Water. You avoid a lot of the stuff that Serena's trying to do. So I actually really do like that pivot. We don't see as much Safeguard in this current meta. For a while, it was really good when there was heavy like melee, but kind of liking it right now as we see towards this top path. It's going to be 3 members of Extinction looking to push it, and Blissey going to lay down that Safeguard, Shadow Tag there, and Miraidon going down in the central area.
Yeah, I hate the Electro Drift here. I don't know why we're doing that, but that is the move that we're running on Miraidon. I don't know what we're running it for. I think that's a really bad choice, but I guess we'll see how that ends up working out for them. Extinction now in a little bit of trouble. 4 members of Lunex trying to push forward. Instead, they will settle for grabbing all that experience in the center.
Tie-Dye keeping the team upright with those Safeguards. It's going to be IMAX versus Yeet down in this bottom side. See which team comes out ahead in this one. Level 6, level 5 down here in the top side. We already going to get a Regieleki secure for Lunex Gaming as it walks towards this T1. Rex is going to get shadow tagged by Luniar, and this Regieleki walks right on in for Lunex.
Yeah, there's not really much that you want to do to try to defend there. Instead, Extinction is going to settle for the Regice in the bottom path. Just IMAX is down here currently, where they have Rex dealing with this Mimikyu up in their central area, and Extinction does not take down the Snorlax, but they will be able to push them away, at least enough to get a couple points in.
5 points goes in before the 30, so you got an extra stack here for Trainer, which you certainly love, especially on that Urshifu. Now, the name of the game, I think, is going to be capturing these wild Pokemon. There's a lot in the central area with this Altaria family. Teams are going to scrap over a little bit. We have, once again, that Inteleon going Liquidation, now forced to use their Unite move. Play Rough, going to connect on to the Miraidon. Eventually does get met with the Play With Me. And now this Charizard is taking it with this Seismic Slam, and 2 members of Extinction going back to the Pokemon Center.
Yeah, I mean, Extinction just not playing these fights very well at all. It seems very delayed, and, you know, watching the Miraidon, and there's just no opportunity to use Electro Drift into the death ball of Lunex Gaming. I mean, what are you drifting into? I can't help but feel like it must have been a misclick or something, because that's just a really bad move to pick into this team comp. And imagine how much Charge Beam would have done in that situation. But we do have Serena now getting caught a little bit. They do have to back up.
Yeah, all 5 members here for Lunex, and absorbing the liquidation is going to be this Vaporeon. Nice little heavy slam there, met with a shadow tag as Rex. Going to get healed up by that Wish healing. And now Celestial getting 1v4'd. Going to take that Unite move from Serena. Vaporeon able to take them back to the Pokemon Center. Now Serena once again looking to press on forward. Metallic's going to stomp into the back line. Lunar is going to get caught by the Meteors from the Miraidon, and Extinction actually playing pretty well here, but here comes that blissful assistance, stolen all the shields away, though, is that Umbreon.
Yeah, great Bliss assistance there, and we don't have a Unite move on the Snorlax yet, so they're just doing their best to hang on, and still, Lunex figures out a way to hang on and even picks up the Miraidon. Lunar will get caught and go down. I think Extinction not too mad about being able to grab a couple KOs, but I think ultimately they would have loved to break that goal zone.
Yeah, certainly was the mission there. Now Regieleki up for the taking for Lunex. On the backside, we do get a nice little 21-point dunk. And a nice little Blissey slap is going to send this Regieleki towards that T2. And there's still a basement Reggie on that side as Vaporeon gets another stack.
Yeah, I imagine we're just stacking up a little bit there. I didn't see, obviously we can't tell what their items are, but a lot of Vaporeons have been running the special attack specs. I've even seen some double stacking. That's kind of the way that I've liked to play it. So even if you get taken down, you definitely want to see if you can grab a couple stacks. And here, Regieleki walks into the top path. Absolutely devastating for Extinction here. Probably going to be able to break this goal zone. Yeah, very easily. Lunex going to take a huge lead here.
We're starting to see how good some of these teams are. And Lunex, despite going 1-2 in week number 1, they're starting to really find their footing. 3-2 now, as well as taking this game, 1 in this set, and also looking pretty good in game number 2. Gonna have to try to counterpunch them at some point as Extinction. Eventually, this Vaporeon is gonna go down at the hands of this Inteleon. Registeel now up for the taking. IMAX gonna power nap, try to stall this out a little bit. Miraidon eventually getting the steal for Extinction.
Will they be able to take down IMAX here? The blocks are just keeping them up for so long, but eventually they will get taken down. Not the best KO to grab here, because that is only a level 9 on that Snorlax, especially 3 minutes left on the clock. Also just jumps on Rex there, who is going to get another stack. Likely gonna maybe go down here. Oh no, they're gonna use the flip turn and the X speed to skate away. Oh no!
Oh,
Huge shadow tag! Oh, what a devastating play.
Oh, what a play there. Insane work from Lunar. That was from, like, max range, too. That does earn them a little bit of space for this Regieleki, which could walk in the home goal zone, which is why you see all 5 members of Lunex Gaming migrating this way, as well as all the members up for Extinction doing the exact same. Regieleki getting pretty low here. Miraidon looking for a secure. Urshifu there. Are we going to get it with Miraidon? Miraidon does get it. Desperate times, desperate measures for Extinction, but they might be going down. Unite move's already starting to get expended. Charizard taken to the sky. Miraidon returning the favor with their Unite move, sending a couple members scrambling. There's that Queenly Ascended from Serena. 3! Make it 4 members likely going down as Blissey falls. Celestial, the lone member up for Lunex Gaming.
Wow, but Extinction is very low. A couple liquidations being locked on here from Celestial could really change the state of the game. Now Snorlax is back up. Can Extinction rip it down in time? It's very low. Kyogre will get secured here by Serena, but Extinction is very far behind. They're going to have to score some points.
They're going to. Only 4 shields, right? With the Miraidon still not having one, now just getting back to the top. 4 members now looking to push this bottom side. Mimikyu still hovering the top, seeing if anybody splits off. Liquidation going to connect on the Vaporeon. Here comes the Flipter. Here comes the Stomp right into the Snorlax, but met with a block. Trainer also going to have to back up. Shadow tagged was Metallic. Here comes the Miraidon. Now all 5 members in the bottom path. Celestial gets a safeguard. Another Electro Drift, and a big block is going to knock out 2 members into this wall. Still no points going on in. Only 10 from this Miraidon. That's not going to do the trick. Another Electro Drift is going to send IMAX very low, but 100 points is going to even up the score a little bit, but still 40 points down as Extinction.
Oh, and here comes the Vaporeon. They are going to be able to get in some more points here. That's 54. Now Extinction has taken the lead with 37 seconds left. I don't know if Lunex is going to have enough time to make it to the other side here. What a play there from Extinction as well to make sure that you're winning a fight before you're putting in any points. You can't afford to lose members of your squad there. Extinction is going to take us to a game number 3.
Just a little bit late, I think Lunex was on pulling the trigger on some of their Unite moves. I think Extinction was like, if we get this Marida, or if we get this Regieleki, we're just going to need a full send. And they were ready, right? Like, all the Unite moves came flying. I think the Blissey Unite move might have been a little bit late from Lunex. It went on to the Inteleon. You probably would have loved to see that maybe on the Mimikyu, maybe on the Charizard. And Inteleon really just wasn't able to do a whole lot with it.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate Electro Drift. I hated it there. I still hate it. I did not like the decision to go with it, but I gotta give it there to Yeet Fan. To be able to get that secure on the Regieleki with that Electro Drift really put Extinction into the driver's seat for that endgame fight, and they forced the fight before Lunex was really ready for it. They did pop all the Unite moves, and they did a great job of trying to counter back, but Extinction was a little bit more prepared. They had the Regieleki as well on their side to walk in, and that was just a great endgame fight for them, especially after losing the entire game.
518 323 is going to be your final in game number 2. But yeah, Extinction evening up the score here. Going to be our first game number 3 on broadcast. Well, I guess on the off-stream broadcast. So really excited to see how this one plays out. They certainly needed this as that 1-3 record. Not really where you want to be. You certainly wouldn't want to go down to that 1-4. So we are going to get that ever more important game 3. Let's take a look at the stats throughout this game, though. Celestial, 6 KOs, 3 assists on that Inteleon. Did look good. Was that last person standing for Lunex in that moment, but unfortunately, Extinction just hit the Unite move triggers at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Electro Drift was the call, and the play rough on the Mimikyu wasn't. I guess, you know, Lunex played a really good game the entire time they were winning that game, and then it was really just that end fight where Extinction was able to capitalize, grab the Regieleki out from under them, and then push and force that fight outside of the pit. And yeah, Lunex just wasn't ready for it. Vaporeon being so tanky, you have Bora on the Umbreon just stealing all the shields in that moment. I'm excited to see some of these replays as well.
I'm excited to see the replay. I'm excited to see some of the stats, too. I want to see what some of these damage numbers said. There we go. 99K from... Yeah, still a lot of damage. I mean, this liquidation, I mean, it's not as flashy as, you know, Snipe Shot. We saw a lot of good moments with Snipe Shot, but it's very consistent damage into a lot of these targets.
Yeah, the liquidation being played now in both of the games that we've seen in this set, just from opposite teams, and both times it's been dealing some really consistent damage. It looks pretty decent here. Also on the opposite side, Metallic and Trainer both playing those all-rounders once again. They brought both of them back in, and both of them looked pretty good. 2 EVs as your front line as well. You could never really go wrong, but it is surprising given that we see Tie-Dye and IMAX on the Blissey Snorlax. That's such a tanky front line, and for Lunex, or for Extinction to be able to really rip through them in that end game was kind of surprising.
Yeah, I mean, the Electro Drift Marida, I mean, it's not my favorite moveset of Marida because it kind of ends up playing more like, you know, a brawler all-rounder because you're kind of really into the mix. And it doesn't have, like, a super big HP pool to survive it, so you do end up going down a lot more frequently. But it did provide a lot of value. Obviously, in the biggest moments, I think the Electro Drift came in pretty clutch. This is a good moment here in that central area. You do take down that Blissey, and this was where we saw a ton of Unite moves get expended. IMAX doing a lot of work, and Celestial on this Inteleon. Just, it's so hard because it's that point and click. You can't really dodge a lot of it, and it's just really difficult to work with.
Yeah, we saw again, like, Extinction in so many of these fights was losing. This was a good grab here for Serena to be able to pick up that Inteleon. It was kind of funny though because the Electro Drift went just like underneath. Yeah. Like it didn't actually hit anything. But yeah. All right, give me 1 second because I really have to pee. So you can talk about these replays.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the replays. I'll do my little telestrator thing. It's a big block from Snorlax. Look at that X. X marks the spot. Right? Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm cooking now. You can press the play button. Serena goes into the back line. You have all these meteors falling down. You got that shadow tag right there. Takes it. You have Umbreon. This was that Bliss assist. I actually really liked using that Umbreon shield because look at the the size of that shield there from that Umbreon. And ooh, can I pause? It's the pause. Okay, the pause doesn't work. That's okay. Oh, it does work. Maybe it works. The play works now too. Yeah, these heavy slams hit 3 members, and Urshifu just able to get away. I think Extinction really wanted this. I think the only one that goes down is that Miraidon. But Extinction really wanted that T1 goal zone in that moment. Unable to get it. Isn't Telia just so annoying to deal with? Oh yeah, this is the shadow tag from downtown. That was so crazy. In the wild, you see on the mini-map, Extinction all going for it. And this is that Regieleki moment. So you get that Electro Drift there from the Miraidon to take it. And then you see immediately Vaporeon going into their Unite move. Right there. And we'll try to go play. Pause. So we're still going in. Mimikyu uses their Unite move. Right here. I believe that's on... Is that on the... That's on the Miraidon. So I actually really like shutting down that Miraidon there.
All right, I'm back.
Or not, sorry, not the Miraidon. That was the...
That was Urshifu.
Urshifu. So actually, I really like shutting down the Urshifu there. But yeah, Serena there. And then you get the Blissey assist a little bit late here. But I guess that's like a last-ditch effort. That's the only one that was up at that moment. But I feel like you just probably, knowing that Extinction has expended every Unite move, you probably just have to...
Yeah, I wonder if
just have to use it early.
The Blissey ult would have been better used on the Charizard immediately when the Charizard uses the Unite move there. I wonder if that would have been the call, but it's hard to tell in those moments because we did see Extinction kind of back out for a second. Mm-hmm. They walked away, so Lunex might have thought okay, they're not taking the full fight here, and then they turned back around and kind of full sent it once again when they got back. True.
All right, well, we are going to get our last match here of the evening of Week 2, Day 2. It's going to be Game 3 of our Match 3, and we have a little bit of information on what we're going to see. We are going to see Kyogre once again, so a lot of tall grass. Mm-hmm. We are going to see a couple bans, specifically, we're going to see Umbreon, Miraidon, Talonflame all banned from Lunex. Lunex is going to be on that first pick side. And Extinction gonna ban that Blastoise, Char-Y, and Mewtwo-Y.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting bans from Lunex, honestly. The Talonflame being banned. Nobody's played it, but this time Buzzwole isn't banned by Extinction, so we will be seeing them pick it up. And Trainer actually takes the Mimikyu away, so a lot of changes for both of these squads. In fact, the support core from Lunex previously is now fully on Extinction side.
Let's get into... Uh-oh. We paused?
We paused?
We paused?
He said BRB. Are you paused?
I'm not, yeah, I'm paused. Oh. Help.
Okay.
Help.
Can you unpause it? Are you able to?
No. Oh. I cannot. I could draw on the screen.
Oh, okay. We're
help!
On this.
Help!
Just help. Over and over again. I'll talk a little bit more about the comps. I think Shiv accidentally paused it.
I think he accidentally paused it when he went to
he said
use
BRB.
The restroom or whatever. He said BRB and paused it for us.
He must have accidentally paused it. That's fine. We can't really do anything about that right now, so let's look at these comps again so that we can talk about what's going on. Pawmot is showing up here for Lunex. There's a lot of interesting calls. We've got the Vaporeon. We also have Serena being taken away from Extinction. I don't know if that's in response to the Mimikyu being taken away or, you know, what that is, but yeah, so here we go.
Okay. Wait, you know you paused it? Wait, why would you pause it when the game was going? Either way, we're back into it. Lunex Gaming, they are going to take this, whatchamabobit, Buzzwall up to the top hat. Okay, we are going to just watch Buzzwall. Okay, there we go.
All right, so in the central area here, we're seeing that the Psyduck is invading this Mimikyu. A little bit harder to invade a Mimikyu than an Urshifu. They're going to try to make it work here. They are able to steal away that blue buff. That's a huge advantage here for Lunex.
Yeah, gotta love that. Psyduck taking that one, and now Yifan on this Sobble. Gonna try to even the score. They're gonna find a KO. Actually, it's Mimikyu getting credit for that one as Tie-Dye comes back from that central area invade, and we're gonna get some points in this bottom path.
Getting some points in the bottom path, and now 31-16. Both teams doing a lot of brawling and just trying to get some stacks in. We do have level 5 now on this Pawmot. Gonna look for some more points. This is gonna be an interesting one. Pawmot we've seen a couple times, but we haven't seen it enough to really judge how good it is, but we've definitely seen that it does have a lot of sustain. It has an interesting way of getting its Unite move, so it can kind of take fights anywhere at any time, and I guess we'll see how it turns out here.
Rex on the invade with this Snorlax. Yeah, here comes Pawmot talking about it, and it's going to take that KO on the Mimikyu. Certainly love to see that if you're Lunex Gaming. Rex going to burn that X speed, mostly just to get away from Tie-Dye. And Yifan still not that level 7 Inteleon, but getting very close to it. Snorlax going to gobble up a Citrus Berry as they try to escape the grasp of this Psyduck. And honestly, Rex is just being a big old disruptor right now.
Yeah, Rex being definitely annoying, as they should be, and we do have now the 8-minute mark. Regidrago has spawned. Neither team's really moving toward it. Instead, we see Extinction able to pick up a KO here, grabbing the whatever it is, Vaporeon. Jeez, there's a lot of eons going on in the game right now.
It is. I always have a hard time of, I don't know why, maybe it's because it's the newest one, but I always want to call Vaporeon. I always want to call it Umbreon for some reason. I don't know if it's just because it's both
it's
both
the other
defenders.
Defender, it's broken, you know, all this. There's a lot in common with Umbreon, but 20 points going in the top path for this Lucario, while the rest of Lunex Gaming decides to push into this Tier 1 goal zone.
And Blissey is going to be going eggs this time. Rex getting caught in a blender of all 5 members of Lunex Gaming, and Celestial doing a lot of heavy lifting into the front line with this Pawmot, but met with resistance as now Trainer has hit level 9, met with a Psychic. Gonna go ahead and play with me onto this Buzzwole. Gonna look for the KO. They do get it. It's a double KO for them. They're gonna make their way down towards the spot Reggie.
Yeah, good call there from Extinction to, you know, use that Unite move on the Buzzwole. You don't want it to get out its combo there, and the Liquidation also doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Serena will go ahead and even break that goal zone. We'll keep Lunex in the lead, but the Registeel will go over to the side of Extinction, who's going to push in the other way.
18 points in here, and Lunar almost pulls that Regieleki into their own goal zone, but very wisely. My solo queue teammates, that would have 1000% went into the goal.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe if Lunar's, that's the thing about Buzzwole, maybe if Lunar's, pissed at his team or something, he could just throw it in and be like, see? And then walk away from it. But, yeah, that's, he's just gonna deal with that Regieleki by himself up there in that top path. And 2 members of Lunex now diving on top of this Mimikyu. Trainer trying to survive, but not able to. They use the Unite move and everything.
Nice little block here, making sure that Lunex Gaming isn't able to advance further. Lucario, though, hitting that mega button, but immediately getting met with a ton of damage, ejecting into the close combat, but they're finding KOs that way. They go down, but it is the Inteleon along with the Blissey that survives the majority of that fight.
Yeah, a couple KOs go over to Lunex, but Extinction definitely comes out on top of this fight. Still, though, they're not going to be able to score anything because IMAX did show up. There's not really too much you can do with just a Blissey and an Inteleon against this Vaporeon. It's just so tanky. It also has the Aqua Ring this time, so it has that healing moveset. It's really hard to take this thing down.
Lunex hiding in this bottom side of the map and seeing 2 members of Extinction there, so can't really advance any farther forward. We have 25 seconds until a basement objective. That is going to be the Reggie Roulette, Reggie Alecki. It's going to be up in this top hat. Borreach going to have to X speed on a way towards the safety of this T1 goal zone. Going to try to heal up this Lucario. Going to power up their punch, looking for a KO, but Palmont going to hit their Unite move. I'm not going to say the whole thing, into the back line. And now all the Unite moves get expended for Extinction. Inteleon going to hit that liquidation onto the Serena. Oblivion looking to try to run away, able to do so for the time being. Still a fight going on over this T1 goal zone. We have the Blissey Unite move going to attach to this Mega Lucario. Now has access to their Unite move. Hasn't needed to use it yet, but they might look to do it as Vaporeon looking to go on the defense. And now Serena going to hit their Unite move. That's going to take out Inteleon. Trainer LGC still trying to find all the damage into the front line. They eventually get the Mega Lucario, but points are now starting to go in.
Yeah, great Unite move onto the Inteleon, but still Extinction is able to break that goal zone. Now Palma comes back in. The brawling does allow them to get another Unite move, but the 3 KO streak for the Mega Lucario and the eject button to clean up the Buzzwole as well. That's going to be 4 KOs for Metallic here on the Mega Lucario, and I guess we've seen why this thing is banned in so many of these games.
And Metallic made that look super easy. Extinction now has a pretty commanding lead of this game, not only in that 213 point total, but you're starting to look at the levels, Husky. Level 13 on 2 of their carries.
Yeah, and 2 level 12s here for Lunex on 2 of their 3 all-rounders. An interesting comp when you think about it. Triple all-rounders plus a healing support and an annoying surfing support that is Psyduck. So no range on this composition, which may have proven to be a little bit difficult for them, but 3 minutes and 10 seconds, we're seeing Inteleon pop the Unite move here.
And Lucario also going into that Mega form, now going to look to try to slow down Celestial. They go down. Snorlax on the retreat. There's a block to give them a little bit of a shield. Psyduck misses the Psychic. We have the Liquidation connecting once again. Lunex on very low HP, but Lucario able to close the door on that Registeel. Buzzwole going down, and now Vaporeon dangerously low. Trainer LGC starting to show up to the party.
Yeah, wow. A lot going on there in that fight, and Extinction comes out on top. The decision to pop some Unite moves potentially a little bit late might come back to bite them in this endgame fight, but Extinction knows that. They're going to send Lucario and Inteleon back to make sure that they get some experience to build their Unite moves back up. And interestingly enough, Lunex just now hits a level 13 on their Palmat, whereas the Lucario for the other side is level 14. And when this thing, level 15 now, and when this thing is in Mega form, it's going to be really difficult for them. But look at the Palmat trying to jump in early, Kyle.
Really early. Yeah, they're going to go immediately for this Inteleon, but get absolutely eviscerated. Unite move expended from the Vaporeon. That's going to try to keep this fight stalled off long enough. Unite move from the Serena, I believe, might have just gotten canceled. So they're going to have to retreat there. And now Vaporeon goes down. Extinction on the offensive. They're going to start going. Lucario still has their Mega available if they want to use it. Oblivion going to get Shadow Tag. There's that Unite move eventually that's going to get found. Snorlax going to hit a heavy slam. That's going to be an end to Lunex Gaming as they now have 2 members down. Tie-Dye retreating from the serve. Celestial getting attacked by that liquidation. Kyogre now at half, looking to try to get on in. They're looking to finish it. Mega Lucario looking for a power-up punch. Psyduck's reducing some damage. But
it's the Snorlax! The heavy slam, of course it is, comes in with that secure, and it seemed like that entire endgame fight, Lunex was playing on tilt or something. The tunnel vision on this Inteleon was true the entire time, and still nobody was able to take down Yeet Fan on this liquidation Inteleon. Extinction now throwing in a ton of points, 429, 143. That's likely going to be all she wrote.
Might be. We're going to have one more attempt here for Lunex Gaming to hold the door, but it's going to be a tall task. Liquidation once again going to connect. 3 members down in the Pokemon Center for Lunex. They're going to have to watch as all these points come. I think, what did they do? They did a bit about raining, pouring. What do we want to say? We'll continue that one. The points are pummeling in. Points pummeling in.
It's raining, it's pouring, and this Paul Mod is snoring or something like that. That's the way it goes, right?
Yeah, something. I think that's right.
This is a really big win for Extinction.
Yes.
They were 1-3 coming into this game. You don't want to go down anymore. I think that they haven't really been. I imagine they haven't been super impressed with their performance so far in this league, and to win this game to kind of bring themselves back into contention as a team to be reckoned with here is definitely a really important win for them. That'll bring Lunex now to 3-3 and Extinction to 2-3, and I believe we will see them play again later today on main broadcast. Is that right?
I believe so.
Pretty sure. Yeah, it looks like they play against TI Gang on main broadcast very soon, so good for them to be able to pull out this win. Interesting composition from Lunex. The triple all-rounder didn't really work out too well. Metallic looked incredible on that Mega Lucario. You also see Trainer getting 10 KOs. They just were dominating the entire time.
805, 143, your final here. Yeah, look at these KO numbers, Husky. I mean, those are some massive amount of KOs. 15 from Metallic with 13 assists. Trainer, 10 and 19. These are just some bananas type of numbers. 9 and 17 from Yeet Fan. I mean, this is the nemesis / Extinction that we were expecting going into this league.
Yeah, they looked great in that last game. They really kind of found their footing here, and unfortunately for Lunex, their end game fight was a little bit confusing. I'm not sure what the calls were looking like. We saw the Palmot jump in really early with absolutely no follow-up from the rest of the team, and then we saw Serena do the same thing. Buzzwole Unite moved into all 5 of them. It seemed like maybe they were a little tilted, or they just weren't really sure what the calls were, but they really wanted that Inteleon, and Extinction would not let them have it. Instead, Metallic was over on their side wreaking havoc.
They really were. I mean, Metallic looked unstoppable in this game. I think easily one of the best performances of the day, I would say, was Metallic on this Mega Lucario. Yeah, 107k dealt, and also 80k taken and 46k healed. Yeah, incredible stuff there. Obviously,
look at the damage.
All around, like
look
at much damage. Yeah, 109, 121. I mean, yeah, that's crazy.
And to take the Serena away, and then the Buzzwole has been banned, and that wasn't banned this time, so to take the Buzzwole that's been banned, and then to just not really be able to perform here after Trainer takes away the Mimikyu, you get Mega Lucario out on the field, every single carry on Extinction doing over 100k damage, and the Blissey, 122k healing as well. Just a very clean game from Extinction, very clean win. I think they're definitely happy with their performance here, and now they're going to be going into this match against TI Gang with something to prove.
Gotta prove it. Insane work. Yeah, Shiv says, sorry about the pause. His mom called, so yeah, that's obviously very important. So worth a 30-second pause. And we were able to draw on the board. It's fine.
Yeah, we
got there. Let's take a look at the replays though.
Yeah, I think that, for a lot of this match, it seemed like Lunex they went in really strong in this in the first game of this set, and then after losing the second game, I don't know if they were able to find their composure. I don't know if they've played with a composition like this with the triple all-rounder. I don't know if they really knew exactly who they were following and who was kind of waiting to jump in, but feels like every Unite move that Palmot hit, they went down very quickly afterwards. So, I mean, the players of Lunex were playing fine. It just didn't really seem like they had a lot of cohesion in this match.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like there was meshing well. Like, it would just be like one KO here, one KO there. It wasn't like any significant team fight wins. Like, it was like a very front to front type of composition, whereas Extinction had a really strong front to back fight. You had the great engages from the Snorlax, and then you had the follow-up damage from the Inteleon from long range, all the healing from Blissey in the back line. So like, they were just able to kind of, I think you said at one point, like kind of just deathball quite a lot better.
Yeah, it felt like Extinction took Lunex's front line and was like, yeah, this is how actually you're supposed to be playing it. And then they just absolutely wrecked Lunex in that game number 3, which this is definitely the most, like, even match that we've seen across the two teams that have been playing it, and definitely great for Extinction to be able to win this one. But I think now we're starting to see some rivalries really built up throughout the region, and this could be one of the big ones.
I think it has to be, right? I think the other thing to kind of take away from this game is if Lunex was able to close this win out, they would have gone to 4-2, which would have kind of put them on the same footing as someone like IX Gaming and within striking distance of our undefeated teams. But now they're closer to the middle of the pack, maybe even the bottom of the pack at this point at 3-3, whereas Extinction has that same opportunity now that they have won against this Lunex Gaming. If they're able to take their win in later on the main broadcast later today, they will be 3-3. So this region is way more wide open with this Extinction win.
Yeah, I mean, if they can pull out a win here against TI Gang later, that'll bring Extinction to the same level or the same record as Lunex Gaming, with both of those wins happening today. And I think Extinction kind of expects to win this game, but you know, they can't get too comfortable. Let's take a look at this end game fight. The Mimikyu hits a big Unite move on top of the Vaporeon there. We saw Palmot jump in way too early, getting taken out. Lunex had to back up in this moment.
I couldn't really tell what canceled Serena's Unite move. They eventually get it off here, but look at the convergence right there. They Unite
they're just
move,
all walking in one by one.
And you have
a weird decision.
Yeah, you get the Unite move off from Serena, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members of Extinction all converge and sending the Serena packing. So I mean, yeah, it was just like this one by one.
Actually,
yeah,
because I want to see, I want to see the Serena Unite move again, like the first time.
Oh, the first time. Okay.
Yeah, to see like what canceled it, because that probably was the game losing situation. I don't even know what it was that
was it the Blissey natural cure, or is it maybe, oh wait, no, you know what, I think it was metallic power up punch being charged. Let's see if we could catch it.
Oh, okay, so oh yeah, it was, I think that's what it was.
So he goes in, metallic is charging it. Wait, why is this going backwards? Is Shivam doing it backwards? Okay, there we go.
Okay, so we see them try to go in on Inteleon. They jump in, they try to hit it here. Yeah, I think it was
either the power-up punch or the close combat, yeah.
Yeah, something was unstoppable, and Serena just wasn't. Okay, wait, did they try to hit it? Go forward again. They want Inteleon, but they bounce the other way. So, like, see where they're turning? They hit a stomp as Inteleon's hitting them, and they want to go in on Inteleon, but they're not able to. Just watch them like moving over there, but they jump back. Here is where they hit
it's a
the
power-up
Unite
punch. Yep, yeah, it's a power-up punch.
You
can see it right
and
there.
I don't think they even meant to. I think they tried to hit it on Inteleon, and then they got out of range, and it bounced to the Lucario that was unstoppable. I think that's what happened, and that's definitely unfortunate. I mean, they were able to stay alive for a little bit, but great call there by Extinction to kind of just converge, move as one unit, and just pick members of Lunex off one by one.
Yeah, just really good Kyogre fight there for Extinction. Yeah, and this was that moment. Yeah, you see like the hot pursuit trying to get
just the
Yeet
tunnel
Fan.
vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody on Extinction is up. There's no way you think that that's a good play there. I think at that point, you're pissed, the Unite move got canceled, and, you know, you lose 2 members really quickly, Vaporeon's still down. I think at that point, you're just honestly kind of tilted, because there's no way you get out of this situation.
Yeah, you're chasing the Inteleon, and then Mimikyu finds you. You Unite move the Mimikyu instead of the Inteleon that you wanted, and then you have the entire cavalry of Extinction just all converge.
I mean, so, Lunaire, you see them walking in here, like, they were gonna try to help, but, like, at that point, Serena was on, like, less than 1 HP by the time they even used their Unite move, so unfortunately for Lunex, I mean, they could have won that fight. I feel like it was, you know, it was just, like, unfortunate, you know, misclicks or whatever it was with the Serena Unite move, but regardless, Extinction, knew exactly what they were doing in those moments to capitalize off some of those mistakes. And, this is where we saw a couple members of Lunex in the pit potentially had a chance to take this secure, but here comes Rex, biggest heavy slam of his life, jumping on top of the Kyogre. Perfect timing there from that secure.
Fish down.
Yeah, it was almost the Pawmot. So we saw, where are they? We saw them there, jump in.
It gets stunned.
It was just, it gets stunned. Perfectly heavy slam timing here. IMAX also stunned, I think. And Tie-Dye was just coming out of their Unite move, so they, were just trying to hit it with the Unite move, but just very well timed heavy slam there. Rex, the GOAT, bringing it home there for Extinction. They got to be pretty hyped up after that win.
Oh, surely. They got to be. I don't want to overreact and say this was a must-win for Extinction, but it certainly felt like it had to be a win situation for them, because 1-4 in this league with how many teams there are, it would have been very difficult to get back into that top 5. Much more manageable at 2-3 with an opportunity to be 3-3. And anything can happen. You beat Lunex Gaming, who's kind of in that middle of the road, and now you have the advantage against them on that head-to-head matchup. So fantastic stuff for Extinction after losing that game 1. They had that composure. Really excited for this team. They certainly deserved it. And now we're done for the day here for our off-stream matches. Any final thoughts, Husky?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely the most exciting off-stream set of, probably honestly the most exciting set that we covered off-stream all weekend. It was, we haven't really seen a ton of Game 3 situations in NA so far, so it was definitely a really exciting match. Good for Extinction, trying to bring back their record a little bit after a bit of a struggle earlier in the other week. I don't even remember how long it was. 2 weeks ago that they played last in the league. IX also bringing it home. They're looking fantastic. And then there was the Aftermath set. So
there was the Aftermath set.
Yeah, that happened as well. So yeah, great weekend of off-stream games. Thanks guys for hanging out with us. Yeah, I'm glad. You thought my crocheted Wooper was a bedazzled Wooper? No, he's a crocheted Wooper. I need a bedazzled Wooper now. Yeah, right. Look at him. He looks just like me, my son.
Looks good.
Sit here.
Okay, well, that is it for us today. Big shout out to Shiv for the observing and the production as always. Make sure to follow Unity Clash on Twitter and watch all of their stuff on that channel, as well as Gotlu's channel. If you haven't already, make sure to follow that. Big shout out to everybody who showed up today. Big shout out to Husky for casting with me as always. Final thoughts for me. Underdunk is going to be back on Thursday, so don't miss that. If your team is looking for some more practice, we are going to be running that on Thursday, so we'll be back for that. Other than that, that is it for this weekend. Week 2 coverage, and let's get you guys on over. Let's get you rated out. We'll I don't see anybody covering the broadcast right now, so I think we'll just raid into the main channel.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Good.
Have a good rest of your Sunday evening, and we will see you next time.